but your rank might be like 3 million difference. We're still so tightly packed together. So I'm 161k, which sounds like a pretty good rank to start, and I'm on 205 points. There'll be people that are on like 180, and what is that, like 2 million or 1 million? So there's really not a massive gap between everyone. And something that I wanted to just, I'll keep saying this throughout the stream, don't panic and start making silly decisions just because you've got a low rank. So even if your rank's sort of like 5 or 6 million, or even lower than that, 7 million, doesn't mean you need to start making really like risky decisions. Like we've only had 3 game weeks. I think that equates to about 7 or 8% of the season. If you've only had 7 to 8% of time to view things and to make decisions, and you've still got sort of like 92 to 93% of the season to go, I see absolutely no reason why you need to start taking loads of risks. So for all of those of you out here who are watching and don't have the best rank, do not stress, do not fret. It will be okay. Love it. There's a lot of positivity in the chat. Everyone seems pretty upbeat for a Saturday morning. I guess some of you, it isn't a Saturday morning. Maybe it's the afternoon or evening. But for me, I feel a bit mellow, as I always do on a Saturday morning. I ease into the live stream. Got Chewy in the chat. Good to see you. Please, Liverpool, do something good, especially you, Robertson. Yeah, we need them to, don't we? Absolutely. Got Gabriel in the chat. Freshest FPL advice and the freshest beats. Love to hear it. Good morning, Ross. Good morning, Mickey. Brought in Harrison this week. Really confident. Yeah, I'd really like Harrison, to be honest. FPL Cat says, morning, Ross. Cup of tea in hand. I'm ready for you. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, get your coffee, get your tea ready, get your dinner ready, wherever you are. I've got a nice big pint of water. Nothing exciting here. What's everyone saying? 192 points, 208 points. That's good. 212. God, there's some people doing very well. Yeah, I think most people look like they're in that sort of 170 to like 200 point range. So like I said, everyone's really tightly grouped together. I wouldn't stress if you've had a poor start at all. Good morning from Norway. Good morning, Robert. Good to see you. Hi, I'm new this year to I'm new this year to the channel. Loving your input and knowledge. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, David. Yeah, we've had quite a few new subscribers, which is awesome. We did hit 25,000 subscribers this week. So thank you very much. If you're one of the 25,000 of people that have subscribed, thank you. Always good to hit milestones. I don't think you should be too obsessed with the numbers with anything in life, like earning too much money or getting a certain promotion. But like, it's always nice to see the numbers go up because that is a sign that you're doing something right. Okay, if people keep subscribing, you're probably doing something decent. Tony or Salah captain? Salah. Yeah, quite a few people on a wildcard. Maybe we'll discuss wildcard a little bit. Raptor on a Saturday for the win. Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a regular now, isn't it? Raptor on a Saturday morning. 305 no chips, no hits. There's no way you're on 305 points. Is that a typo? 305, there's no way. I'm one of the 25k and I'm new. Good to see that, Max. Thank you very much for being one of the 25k and thank you for joining the channel. Good afternoon from Dubai. I really need to get out to Dubai. I keep seeing people on holiday in Dubai and it makes me want to go to Dubai. Right. I could just sit here and just chat to you guys all day about all sorts of stuff, but you're not here to chat. Well, you are, but about FPL, right? So let's switch over to my team. By the way, do let me know, guys. I've got both available. We can either look at it, just comment in the chat. We can either look at it on the official site, or I've obviously got my graphic. So let me know what you'd rather. I feel like on live streams, we tend to use the website, but on obviously videos, I use my graphic. It probably doesn't matter, to be honest. But let me know if you've got a preference, and I will do whatever you guys want, really. So basically, just to run through, as I always do with my team, like I said, we're on 205 points. 161k is a good start. It's not an excellent start, but it is a very, very solid start. And if you've watched my videos, like the team's looking really good, and we've not necessarily gotten. I don't think anyway. There's an obvious transfer move with my team. I'm looking at it, and like I've said for a while, 9 of these players are going to stay. Ramsdale, there's definitely justifications. Maybe we'll say 8. Right, there's 8 that will stay. I think Cancelo, Trent, James, Diaz, Salah, Martinelli, Jesus. Wait, what? Haaland, 8. Oh God, I can't count on a Saturday morning. So they're the 8. And I think maybe Ramsdale, Trippier, and Gross are the ones that could come out. But they've all got good fixtures this week, and they've all got justification to be keeping them. I think maybe from game week 5, I am looking at maybe, depending on how Liverpool look this week, I might get rid of Luis Diaz, right? Because I'm on a wild card in game week 9. So it's Chelsea, Wolves, Everton, Newcastle. I think Newcastle were pretty good defensively, although City did put 3 past them. I mean, actually, it's quite a nice run. I'm probably trying to justify something that doesn't need to be done, but I'm thinking if I could downgrade Diaz, that would allow me to sort of spread the funds elsewhere. So that's something to think about. And like Pascal Gross, like the fixture, I don't really want to sell Pascal Gross. Look at this, before my Game Week 9 wildcard. That doesn't feel right either. And then even Kieran Trippier, if you think he's got a decent fixture this week, in Game Week 5, he's got Liverpool, right? So I can, in Game Week 5, when Trippier's got Liverpool, we play Andreas against Brighton, which is nice. And then, oh God, the site froze then. I thought it was going to go under. Right. And then after that, I can then play Trippier for this run. So I don't need to sell anyone, really. So what we're currently planning, like, this is super exciting. If this doesn't deserve a like on the video, I don't know what does deserve a like, because we've got 2 free transfers, so we sort of need to use one. Are you ready for my super exciting transfer? We're currently planning Archer out and Stansfield in. Super exciting, I know. Don't get too excited. The reason for that is he did start in Game Week 3, played 76 minutes, and he got some minutes in Game Week 2. Now, I've spoken to a couple of Fulham fans. They're not convinced that he's going to start regularly. That being said, the fact that he did start a game means he is at least relatively high in the pecking order, and he will get some minutes. And Cameron Archer, there looks like there's a decent chance before the transfer window closes that Cameron Archer could go out on loan. And even if he doesn't, he's just not getting a lot of football. So it feels like I haven't needed Archer yet, and I don't think I'll ever need my 3rd sub, because Stansfield will be 3rd sub every week. But it's maybe better than burning a transfer. The other option we have, if we don't want to do Archer to Stansfield, is we can do Ramsdale to Sanchez. Now, Sanchez has gone up 0.1 million last night, which is a little bit annoying. But that just gives us a little bit more money in the bank next week if we want to do anything with it. Or if we want to go for a 4.5, we can, of course, just not go for Sanchez and then go for Raya instead. I don't necessarily feel like I need to make that move, though. It's something to think about, but I suppose the reason I say I don't mind doing it is because I think that Raya and Sanchez are equally as good as Ramsdale, probably. And it gives me money in the bank next week. But the thing is, then I have no Arsenal defensive cover. And I do think Arsenal are a decent defence to want to target. So, I don't know, guys. Let me know in the chat what you would be doing with my team. It's a good situation to be in, to be honest. It is a good situation to be in. We've got a super chat from Jay. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat for any of that. I do apologise. I was going on a bit of a going on a bit of a rant. So Jay got the super chat. Thank you very much, Jay. Good morning, bud. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone, by the way. Is it best to sell Haaland for Kane tonight to avoid the price drop? Also worth selling Diaz for Rodrigo after this game week. Is Haaland dropping in price? What are we doing? Let's go over to Hub and have a look. Where were we? Toolbox. If you want access to wonderful features from across the board with Fantasy Football Hub, use the link in the description for 30% off. It's an affiliate link, it's a track link, it helps support the channel, but you do get 30% off, so it's pretty cool. Do check that out if you want to. Price changes. I mean, Haaland's close to going up in price, so Haaland's not going to drop in price. And Kane's not going to change in price either. Apologies. I don't think, unless you get in some sort of crazy result where Kane scores a hat-trick and Haaland blanks and comes off injured or something, I don't think you're going to need to make a transfer there. I don't see any requirement to make that transfer tonight. So, no. And then the second question was also, is it worth selling Diaz for Rodrigo after this game week? Yes, I'm tempted to do that. I am tempted to go from Rodrigo to a Leeds midfielder, only if you can use the money elsewhere. Because I think Diaz versus a Leeds midfielder, you'd still probably favour Diaz, but if you can use the money elsewhere, then potentially. Right, let's catch up with the chat. What's going on here? Good morning, Alex. Geez, what a transfer. I know, it's just so exciting. Yelena says, super exciting way to start a Saturday. It really is. By the way, if you want a new YouTube channel to subscribe to, Yelena FPL, I think she's in the chat, just go subscribe to her. She's just hit 500 or 600 subscribers. Very exciting, sort of up-and-coming FPL YouTube channel. So go check that out. Jesus Christ, man, calm down. Archer out is madness. I know. I think I've lost the plot. I think when you're a content creator, it's just these things get to you and you just make these super exciting differential transfers. But really, like I don't even see a particularly like upside chasing transfer. Like there's nothing in my team where I look at that and I go, yeah, do you know what? That would be a more exciting transfer. Because you could say, yeah, bring in a Leeds midfielder, but Brighton's defence is solid and Leeds' defence isn't particularly. So I actually prefer Pascal Gross for this week. And even like a Trippier to a Perisic, number one, I can't do that in one move anymore. And even so, is that upside chasing? Do you not think Trippier's got a chance to get a return and a clean sheet against Wolves? I don't know. Would you sell Gordon, Raptor? Yeah, I would be tempted by it, to be honest. What rank are you in your league? In my league? Good question. Let's have a look. I'm 338th. So first is on 239 points. Where are they in the world? They're 466th in the world. First in our league. Yeah, I'm not doing very well in not doing very well in my own league, am I particularly? But there we go. I'm still happy with my start, to be completely honest. Is this video live? This video is live. You are watching me live, yes. By the way, if you are one of the now 1,000 people watching live, thank you very much. That's a crazy amount of people this early on in the stream. If you could just drop a like on the stream, it really helps because it basically spreads the stream to other people. So every person that likes it, the YouTube algorithm goes, hang on a second, people are enjoying the stream, and then they push that out to other people. So if you're enjoying the stream, be a massive favor if you could just drop a little like on it, please. Gameweek 5 strategy, please. We will discuss that. I guess we won't. It's so, like I said, it's on Tuesday, the deadline, so maybe there won't be that much discussion. What's the strategy? The strategy is wait for Gameweek 4 to pass, wait to see what happens there, and then just react to whatever we see. If we see lots of like our players that we think might be rotated, getting 90 minutes, looking tired, then maybe we think about taking some of those players out. Realistically, we're going to have to accept that there's going to be rotation, right? Haaland's going to be rotated, most likely, you'd expect. There's a decent chance Martinelli misses one of the next three. I think even the likes of sort of James, there's a small chance he misses one. Cancelo, I think, should be fine. I'm looking at my team. I don't think there's that many issues. I think probably Martinelli and Haaland in my team are probably the major ones. But there is always these random pieces of rotation that you just don't expect as well. God, the chat is moving far too quickly. Did you see the chance of Kane rotation? I didn't. What does that mean? Was there a quote that said that Kane could be rotated? Are you burning a transfer this week? I'm not burning a transfer, no. It will probably be one of Archer to Stansfield or Ramsdale to Raya/Sanchez, probably. It's probably going to be Archer to Stansfield. I don't think I want to take out Ramsdale. I think I want to cover the Arsenal defence. Please answer why we must captain Salah and not Jesus. I don't think anyone, and if they did, then don't listen to them. No one in FPL should ever tell you not to do something, right? I might have said it in a joking way before, but I would never tell someone, don't do this, do this. And I generally speaking, this isn't highlighting any one specific person. If a content creator ever tells you to do something or tells you not to do something, I would avoid that content creator. So in my opinion, you captain whoever you want. I personally think that Salah is the best captaincy choice. I think that generally speaking, when someone's on penalties, they get an extra point for a goal, extra point for a clean sheet. They've got arguably the best fixture this week against, I think Bournemouth are the team to target at the moment. I think when you stack everything up, for me, Salah looks like the better captaincy choice this week. But Jesus is putting up really good numbers. He's playing in arguably the best attack in the league at the moment in Arsenal. It's a home fixture against a newly promoted side. Absolutely, Jesus is a great captaincy shout. So is Haaland. I think all three of those almost every single week are going to be good captaincy choices. It's just up to you. What do you want to do? You choose for you. That's sort of the motto on my YouTube channel is I'll present everything to you. I'll present all of the data. I'll give you my opinion. Absolutely. I'm not going to sort of sit on the fence, but I don't want to ever tell you to do something or for you to copy me or to do something that I've done purely because I've done it. So I'll try and just lay everything out, and that's it for me. So Salah, I think for those reasons is good. Like I said, I listed the reasons for Jesus. For Haaland, he's still putting up some of the best data in the league. He's getting into excellent positions. Yes, Mahrez did take a penalty with Haaland on the pitch, but we don't see any reason why Haaland couldn't still take a pen, and Mahrez often isn't on the pitch. And City are, again, along with Arsenal, probably one of the best attacks in the league. So there's justification to go for Haaland and Jesus ahead of Salah. I just think when I'm in doubt, and for me, at the moment, I don't have enough information really to go Jesus and Haaland over Salah. I always revert back to Salah because we know how consistent he is. Like, if you look at Salah's points, we were discussing this on our members-only stream. By the way, if you want to become a member, there's loads of perks involved, but we do sort of like a Discord call every single week where there's only a small group, like maybe 15 of us, and we all talk about our transfers. So check that out. It will tell you how to do that above. Salah's got 24 points, right? 22 points. Jesus Christ, Ross, the maths. 22 points for Salah. And Salah's had a really slow, poor start, right? So we're saying Salah's not at his best. Liverpool don't look great. Salah's sticking wide. So Salah's getting 22 points in a relatively slow start. And we're saying that Gabriel Jesus is like the best asset in the game and that everyone should own and captain him. I mean, Jesus has 25 points. So quick maths with Ross. Jesus, in his like best ever start, looking absolutely fantastic, has only got like 3 more points than Salah. I always think that, like I said, unless I see something that would suggest that Salah's not a good option, then I personally believe that at the moment, when you've got Bournemouth at home, I'm going to be going Salah. Hopefully that helps a little bit with your sort of captaincy dilemmas. But I think at the end of the day, you just choose who you fancy. Cool, sorry. I watch loads of FPL content and yours is the best by far. Keep it up. Thank you very much. That is awfully kind of you to say. PMac, I never seen you once tell viewers what to do. I probably do unintentionally or as a joke, but yeah, I try not to actually do that. Palace have the worst shots against data. Haaland has the best shots data. Haaland is the way. There you go, from the man Frosty himself. So Palace conceding a lot of shots, Haaland taking some shots, or at least from some good positions as well. With Nottingham Forest having such a high XGC, isn't Kane a better captain than Haaland this week? Yeah, I was looking at my team, but Haaland and Kane and Son are absolutely fantastic options, really. I think they're absolutely excellent options. Hi, Ross. Would you get Martinelli on your wildcard? I would absolutely have Martinelli on my wildcard. That was a friendly charity game. Haaland is on pens in the Premier League. I guess we don't know that, though. We don't know that Mahrez isn't still ahead of Haaland. There's still a decent chance that Mahrez is ahead of Haaland. Yes, we assume that it may be different in the Prem, but I don't know that. Would you take a -4 for Pascal Gross? I still think he's a good option, but the not being on penalties is a little bit of a sucker punch. So maybe not a -4. I would do it for free. D Phantom says, decided to be a premium member. Welcome. So you can get personalized advice. You can enter our Raptor mini league where there are monthly prizes, and you get the Discord calls as well. So there you go. There are your main perks for being a Raptor 1 member. I should have advertised this. We have a Raptor 1 mini league. If you're a premium member, it's £4.99 a month. It will circle above my head. We have a Raptor mini league, and there are monthly prizes. So it's like an FPL glass or an FPL mug from FPL merch, a copy of my book, and then at the end of the year, there's a prize for the winner of the league. And it's like a kit of your choice, an FPL mini league winner's hoodie, and then a copy of the book as well. It's quite good prizes. Do check out the link. Opinions on Gundogan. Yeah, what do we think in the chat, guys? I really like Gundogan as an option. Like, really like him. My only issue is, because City have 3 games in 8 days, are we expecting Gundogan to start all 3 of them? So they've got a game on Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. I'm not convinced, even how good he is at the moment, I'm not convinced he starts all 3. The thing is, though, if he starts 2, he could still be a fantastic option. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. Zaha is injured, guys. Yes, I should have probably announced that news. Let's take a look. Where is it? What am I doing? Twitter. There. It's not on Twitter, though. It's on Instagram. Olive. So basically, from a very reliable source, Zaha is out injured for this game week. How do I join your Discord? Is it automatic? It's not from YouTube. So just drop me a DM on Twitter or drop me a message on Discord, and I will add you to our our premium private chat. And we've just had Alan Homewood becoming a Raptor X Platinum member. Thank you very much. That is super cool. I really appreciate the support, Alan. Again, drop me a message and I'll add you to our private chat. Thank you very much to both of you. Hello, won't be able to watch the whole stream. Going to catch the rest on the vid. Thanks. Thoughts on Haaland? Yeah, I think Haaland's fine. Keep him for this week. Again, I think there are better captaincy options, but I don't mind it. I wouldn't be selling Haaland this week. We can discuss again ahead of Game Week 5. Daddy Raptor, let's not start this again. Daddy Raptor, who is the best Maddison replacement? I think, good question. I would still probably be going for a Leeds midfielder, and I would spread the funds a little bit. Maybe try and bring in a striker. Maybe you can get like a Tony or an Isak, who looks really good for Newcastle. Looks like he'll be a good sign-in, or an Mbermo or a Welbeck. You've got multiple options there. So yeah, I would probably be doing something along those lines. Is Fofana essential now? Interesting one, right? Fofana at he's 4.4 million. Getting access to a Chelsea centre-back for 4.4. We expect him to play almost every game at right centre-back. I mean, it could be fantastic. 4.4 million. Like dropping James to Fofana. But the issue is, with Fofana coming in, if Fofana does indeed play right centre-back, well, then James is going to play right wing-back almost every game. And then I genuinely do believe James is worth it on top of Fofana. But I mean, like in my team, getting Fofana in for Trippier could be nice. But again, like, I think I prefer having the slightly more expensive fullbacks because Fofana's not going to get you many attacking returns as well. Do we trust the Chelsea defence enough that we think it's value? I still think he is a good option. Don't get me wrong. And I think maybe if Cucurella continues to play at sort of left centre-back, if we see him there or he's rotated with Chilwell, maybe he's worth it on top of, maybe it's worth going for Fofana over Cucurella. But I just think Reece James is in a league of his own for those sort of Chelsea fullbacks, wing-backs, I should say. It's an interesting one, though. It's something to monitor for sure, and it does look like it's happening. So, yeah. So, just looking ahead to sort of next week. Let's do it on the hub. Let's do it on the hub site. So, looking ahead to next week, I'm thinking... So, 93% for this week, 95% team rating. We're absolutely fine. No major issues there. If we just skip ahead to Game Week 5, so I'm going to have 2 free transfers, and I'd still have 0.4 in the bank. Because at the moment, I'm just planning that Archer to Stansfield move. I'd probably captain Salah most likely. I've got the armband on Haaland now, but I think there's a very good chance that I captain Salah if Haaland plays sort of 80, 90 minutes in Game Week 4, and we think he's going to be rotated. But I've got Gross against Fulham. I can then sub Andreas in for Trippier, right? So Trippier comes out because he's got Liverpool. Andreas comes in. What on earth do I do in Game Week 5, right? So at this point, I think I need to start getting a little bit aggressive. Depending on how Luis Diaz looks, I could sell Luis Diaz for like a Rodrigo or a Harrison. Or what we discussed on my members-only sort of Discord call is I could do like a Cancelo to Walker. Hear me out. I don't really want to lose Cancelo, but I could then do... I've just got a feeling he's going to kick on sooner rather than later. I could do something spicy like a Luis Diaz to a Raheem Sterling. Because they've got Southampton, West Ham, Fulham in the 3 weeks from Game Week 5 to 7. I just feel like that's a bit of a spicy pick. I could do something like that. Outside of that, I don't actually know. I think I'm just looking for exciting things to do because I'm a bit bored with my team. But again, that's not really a good reason to want to do these things. I think we should just probably make the sensible moves. So the other sensible move that I could potentially make, I guess, is I could move Trippier on next week because he's got Liverpool. But again, I want him from Game Week 6. So we're stuck in another tricky position. I know a lot of people are going to be looking to do Haaland to Kane. And I understand that because Kane's more likely to get more minutes. But I still think Haaland's going to get enough minutes to justify keeping him. Don't know. I don't know. It's not an easy decision at the moment making all of these calls at all. Has Isak had a price reveal yet? Yeah, he's 7 million. So he's 0.5 cheaper than Wilson. Trent and a 4 million defender or James and Perisic to rotate with? That's a really good question. I would still favour... Are you starting that £4 million defender, though? Because if you're not, then it would be Trent and whoever you would start instead. If you're starting the £4 million defender, I probably prefer James and Perisic. Ross, mate, never forget about Game Week 36 Sterling. The pain is not worth it. I know he's a bit of a troll, but I really like the look of him moving forward. I feel like that could be a really nice differential. Alvarez in for Nottingham Forest in Game Week 5. Not for me. I think that's a transfer out waiting to happen. You're going to bring him in and then bring him out almost immediately. I just don't. I never like using 2 transfers like that. If I want to bring a player in, I want to think I'm happy keeping them for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I hate bringing players in that I know the next week I'm going to want to take out. It's just a good way to minimize hits and to make sure that your team's always looking pretty good. So there have been players that I've wanted for specific weeks, but I know that I maybe don't want them following that. So it's one of the reasons why I didn't even start the season with Kane. I genuinely thought, and again, you could call this, like I thought Kane would outscore Haaland in game week 1. But I knew that from game week 2, I'd want Haaland back. So I don't like booking in transfers. So for me, I'm going to say a no for that one. Ross, are you starting Andreas over Trippier? Fancy Fulham to bag. I'm definitely not doing that, no. This is my game week 5 team, to be honest. Let me switch back. Pick team. There we go. No, I'm definitely not starting Andreas ahead of Trippier. Yeah, I think Fulham could score. Wow, my voice went. I think Fulham could score, but I think Trippier's got a decent chance for clean sheet. And I've liked the way he's looking going forward. He's on a lot of corners, as is Andreas, but obviously Trippier gets extra bonus and extra points for goals. So I just like the look of Trippier at the moment. I'm not going to bench Trippier. He's got 3 returns in 3. 7-7-6. I see no reason to want to bench him. He's playing really well at the moment. Why no Salah captain? Salah is my captain. That was my team from game week 5. My team's back now. Neto, Gross, or Harrison? Aronson. You said Aronson. From those 3, probably Pascal Gross. If you chuck Harrison in, I like Harrison. I've got a really good feeling about Harrison moving forward. I'd like to get him into my team if possible. Would you start Maddison? As far as I know, Maddison is injured, but I don't know if it's been confirmed that he's out. I think a lot of people have said that he's like touch and go. Let me know on that. I haven't really been keeping up to date with the Maddison news. Have we got any Perisic news? We have not, no. Well, there's been rumours, but nothing that I'd feel comfortable reporting to you guys. If I get anything sort of confirmed to me, or if I get any DMs that would suggest it, but honestly, I'm skeptical. Unless I know someone is a good source, then I'm personally not looking at listening to that sort of stuff. We wanted Paul O'Keefe. Paul O'Keefe's the one. So I'm just checking Twitter at the same time if I'm struggling to multitask. I think Paul O'Keefe's the one that we'd probably want to hear from, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it, because normally he gets it because Spurs play on the Saturday, but Spurs play on the Sunday this week. So I think there's a very, very reasonable chance that we don't get anything there. I feel like my throat is never going to recover from the amount of talking I do. 3-hour live streams on a Saturday, recording videos all week. Check Sam Martin's last tweet. What did Sam Martin tweet? Oh, okay. Cool. I'll copy that into the chat. Actually, I'll just bring it up on stream, can't I? One second. Sorry. What am I doing? There. Are you going to be able to see that? Let's have a look. Sorry, I got like far too many things. There we go. Far too many things open. Twitter. Right. Sam Martin has just tweeted that. There you go. If you're a Maddison owner, or if you were looking at Maddison, or if you just wanted news, then there's that. It also makes the Chelsea defence look slightly better. So if you were thinking about maybe benching Cucurella or James, I probably wouldn't. I think Maddison's the only bright spark that Leicester have had recently. Got a super chat from Anurag. Says, I have Neto and 0.7 million in the bank. Worth going to Harrison now, or maybe Gross, assuming we should keep Walker for now. Yeah, I'd keep Walker. I think this week I do slightly prefer Gross, but again, I don't like making moves for 1 week. And I think over the next 5 weeks, I would probably prefer Harrison. So I think there's a good chance that could... I think Harrison's got a tricky-ish fixture this week. So yes, I would go Neto to Harrison, just be aware that obviously any transfer has the potential to backfire. And Neto has still looked pretty decent. But yeah, I just think minutes are going to be a slight issue for Neto moving forward. And I think Harrison's a good option. So yeah, I'd probably make that move. What other stuff have we got to chat about? Let's shift over to... Is it this one? That's my watch list. I made another benching decisions one. I haven't given this too much thought, but I'm happy to chat about it. But I know this kind of helps some people out. So here are some of the benching decisions from start to bench. Again, I'm happy to chat about some of these. I know a lot of people will be like, why is Andreas that low? But to be honest, Arsenal are a decent defence and he's not going to score weldies and assist from corners every single week. So... yeah, and there'll be players that aren't on this list, but let me know in the chat and we can have a bit of a chat about them. What are your thoughts on Cucurella to Trippier? I wouldn't be selling Cucurella, I don't think. I think there's a good chance he plays left centre-back this week with Chilwell at left wing-back. Where's Alvarez on the benching table? I assume no one owns Alvarez, to be honest. If someone does, you start him pretty much every week in the hope that he starts. But why is Trossard not on the list? Guys, there are hundreds of players in FPL. I'm not going to have every player on the list. I would put Trossard in roughly with where sort of Rodrigo and Harrison are. There are only so many names you can put on there. Pascal Gross, I would put in around again where Rodrigo, Harrison, and Aronson are. These sort of mid-price mids, I think Rodrigo, Harrison, Aronson, Rashford, Gross, Trossard, you decide. I think it's a better fixture for Brighton than it is for Leeds. I think the Leeds defence is slightly weaker than the Brighton defence. So I would probably start a Brighton midfielder ahead of a Leeds midfielder. Think Dalot should be higher up. Maybe. I just don't. I'm not convinced by Manchester United defensively. What is happening to Zaha? Zaha is injured, apparently. He's not travelled with the team to Man City. Would you sell... sorry, my throat is gone. Would you sell Perisic to Trippier? No. Unless we get news that Perisic isn't going to start, I would keep Perisic. How much do you think about home/away and let it influence order post-COVID? Not too much at the moment, Will. Maybe it's something we should start considering more in the future. I know like the hub algorithm massively favours home fixtures. For me, I would much prefer to just pick better players from better teams with better fixtures than focus on the home versus away aspect. Son is dropping in price again tonight, is he? Interesting. He hasn't looked great, to be fair, but I think he will bounce back sooner rather than later. I think Wolves are underrated. Next 3 fixtures are great. I'm seriously considering Guedes. Yeah, I'm considering Guedes as well, but he's a little bit expensive, isn't he? Will Bailey start? I think Bailey will start, yes, if I had to guess. If I had to guess, I would say so. Isaac in this week is a huge differential. It would be, but I don't know for certain that he's going to start. I think there's a reasonable chance that he's on the bench this week and then he starts from Gameweek 5. Is Chilwell going to start? I've got a good feeling Chilwell starts, but I don't know that. That's just a guess. Why Bailey over Andreas? I think Bailey's got better underlying data. Bailey is taking more shots. West Ham are a poorer defence. Well, there you go. There's 3 reasons. I think people have gone absolutely mental over Andreas. That isn't to say that Andreas won't get a return this week. He could quite easily. But I think people are going absolutely insane, like starting Andreas ahead of some players that are just significantly better FPL assets. Andreas has got great assist potential, and he is on a lot of set pieces, and he does have a fantastic long shot in him. I can't see him picking up returns every single week, though. Will Foden start? Foden's a tricky one. I'm not 100% certain that Foden does start. Please put De Silva on the list. I'm not going to edit the list now. De Silva would go... probably just after Neto and Podence. Maybe just between Podence and Dalot. I would start De Silva ahead of Andreas. I just think it's a better fixture. That being said, maybe Andreas is the better asset. It's completely up to you, to be honest. Like, benching decisions are such a personal thing. There's absolutely no way whatsoever to predict the future. So it's a completely personal thing, to be honest. What's next? So we can talk about Pep Roulette. We did discuss this in the Game Week preview video. It's just something to think about. If you have got 2 free transfers this week and you want to make the switch from Haaland to Kane, I do think that there's a very, very decent chance that Haaland misses one of the next 3. That being said, he obviously didn't play that many minutes in the charity game, which is good. Alvarez did play. So I suppose there's a small chance he gets like 70, 70, 70, or like 70, 60, 70, or something like that. Even so, his minutes are going to be reduced over the next 3, because these 3 come in 8 days, right? He's not going to play. He's not going to start and play a lot of minutes in 3 games in 8 days. So it's not something to worry about, but it's something to bear in mind with all of your Man City players, and to be honest, all players in general, but specifically teams that can rotate. Zaha doesn't start, it seems, and if Perisic is also out, that's 2 of the most transferred in. I think Perisic has a good chance of starting. I don't know whether Perisic starts. But yeah, Zaha apparently is confirmed by a very reliable source of like early team news and stuff to be injured. So if you've got Zaha, just make sure you've got a good first sub, or make sure that you take him out. Kane might miss one of the next 3 as well. Conte said he's getting rested over the next... I completely missed this quote. One of the mods or something. Can you let me know where the quote was? I would be interested in seeing that, because I haven't seen it. If someone can chuck me the quote, that'd be good. Reliable source on Zaha equals Nana Raptor. Nana Raptor knows everything. Here we go. Eddie has just dropped it for me. That didn't work. Spurs. Right. Sorry, I'm getting the quote up because I'd be interested in seeing it, to be honest. The link didn't work for some reason. Here we go. Sorry, found it. Too many things open on my screen. Here we go. Antonio Conte has insisted he will have no choice but to rest Harry Kane during the next few weeks due to Tottenham's busy fixture schedule. But is that coming in the Premier League? Could that not come in the Champs? Also, does rest mean bench, or does it just mean a couple of early subs? I don't, unless there's a better quote where he says something more specific. I'm not sure I would stress too much over that. We do have another super chat from POL versus Gordon or Neto to start, keeping Neto for game week 5 to 6. That's a good question. I don't know, with everything up in the air about Gordon at the moment, I'd be tempted to start Neto, to be honest. I think that's a pretty close one, though, to be completely honest with you. We've also got Tanishq Basu has become a member. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Yeah, that's not a quote. I know that's not a quote. I assume it's paraphrasing the quote. The quote is from an implicit statement. He didn't say explicitly that he would rest Kane, just that he's not a magician and would take it game by game, and some players will need rest with congestion. There we go. Oh. Someone just said scroll down. Silly Raptor. Silly Raptor. I repeat, we are talking about a situation we have to start to face. On a Sunday, we have to play 7 games every 3 days. After every game, I'll have to check the situation with all of the players for tiredness and injuries, and one player will not be able to play in all 7 games. It is impossible. I'm not a magician. I cannot forecast this, but we go game by game to make the best decisions for the team and for the players. I think Harry Kane will start all 7. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced at all. And I think at the moment, Kane is the only Spurs player that is dragging that team around. They don't look great at the moment. Oh, the camera's gone. They don't look great at the moment. I think Harry Kane's the only one providing that real spark. Kulusevski's looked okay, but Son is an absolute mess. I just think that for me, that they've got to play Kane at the moment. So I expect Kane to continue to get quite a bit of football. But it's something interesting to think about if we expect Kane to get. If we think there's a chance that Kane gets rest, then maybe we don't make the switch from Haaland to Kane. I know my camera's gone, by the way. I'm just resetting it because it overheats. Son could well be benched. Yeah, Son could be benched. It sounds like a lot of them will be benched, to be honest, but I don't know. Last year, he said he'd play that Kane if he only had one leg. I think there's a very good chance that Kane continues to play every game, even though he said this. Raptor is a magician. He disappeared. Yeah, I read that. As I said magician, I disappeared. Bloody camera. Bloody camera. You look like my dad now. Please don't say that. I'm only 25. I don't look like anyone's dad. I've just realised what you've said. Oh, my goodness. You said I look like your dad because I've just disappeared. That is a very dark joke, John, for a Saturday morning. It took me a while. I got there. I'm very sorry that your dad disappeared. I hope I haven't given you any flashbacks there. Salah or Jesus captain? I'm currently on Salah. You'll realise throughout the season that I very rarely deviate from Salah unless I've got a good reason to, or unless Salah's really not performing. Is Petrovic an option to the Silva for a -4? I'll be completely honest, I don't even know who Petrovic is, which is probably something embarrassing to admit when I'm a content creator. I've got no idea who that actually is. There's my team, by the way. We're back. Nope, there. Thanks. There you go. Got another super chat from Abdullah. Says, great content, bro. Thank you very much. What a kind thing to just super chat and say great content. I appreciate that. If you did have a question and you just didn't ask it, I'll look out for it for you. Andreas or Nico Williams? I would start Andreas this week. Would you start Bailey, Andreas, or Neto? I would say Bailey at the top, definitely. Then maybe just about Neto, then Andreas. Being fit and available for selection doesn't mean he will play. Both are different. He could still get benched. Who is this? Is this Perisic? Yeah, Perisic is fit. Perisic isn't injured, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start. How risky is it to captain Kane? I don't think it's risky at all. I think that's a great captaincy shout. Dynamite Don says Archer survives. He probably isn't going to survive for much longer. I've still not made my transfer. I've still got 2 transfers and nothing to do with them, to be honest. So it probably will be Archer to Stansfield. Hi, Ross. Would you start Trippier or De Silva? I would probably start Trippier, but I'm very biased towards Trippier. I think he's a fantastic asset. Thoughts on a Brighton defender for the next few games? Dunk or Veltman? Gives me the chance to upgrade a bench midfielder to an £8 million player. Diaz or Foden? I would honestly, at the moment, I'm starting to think Veltman might be the one. Veltman's a bit of a bonus point magnet. Like, he seems to just be picking up bonus points left, right, and centre. Like, I don't know how he does it. And there's a small chance that he can play on that right wing-back position. I would actually probably lean towards Veltman at the moment. And yeah, I really like the Brighton defence. And if that does give you the chance to upgrade to an £8 million mid, I like it. The issue is I don't know which £8 million mid I'd want at the moment. Out of Diaz and Foden, it would be Diaz, but I'm not convinced by any of them. Alex ND says, Dear Ross, would you get 2 Leeds players or just 1 for the following game weeks? Start with 1. See how they got on against Brighton. I don't think a double up's an issue at all. Like, if you had like Harrison and Rodrigo, that looks really nice to me. And I do think that players should be largely considered in isolation. But at the same time, Leeds aren't an elite team. They're not an elite attack, at least not over previous seasons. They've been exciting to watch, but I'm not convinced that they're necessarily worth like over-investing in their assets. So start with 1 maybe, but I don't mind the double up. Yash says, hi Ross, lost 6.5 kilos in the last month and have gone down to my target weight of 73. Hey, everyone give a massive congrats to Yash in the chat for that. 6.5 kilos is massive. That's a huge amount of weight. Such a good job, mate. Honestly, such a good job. I am doing the opposite. I'm actually trying to put on weight at the moment. I'm trying to go up. And I'm not doing very well at it, unfortunately. Best FPL advisor. Thank you very much, Jamal. I appreciate that. Ross, are you burning a transfer? I'm not burning a transfer now. I just need to think about what I want to do. with my transfer. What is your Man United versus Southampton prediction? In about 10 minutes, we will do some predictions together. But for now, I will just say that I expect Man United to just about come out on top. I panic bought Veltman, so those words are music to my ears. Yeah, I think it's a good transfer. I really do. I really like Veltman. Last season, when Walker didn't start, he played no minutes at all in the game. I expect that to be the same with Haaland. The thing is, Walker's a defensive defender. I'm not necessarily sure that Haaland's in the same boat there, whereas... Like, because he's an attacker, and if Man City do need it, or if they just want to keep Haaland's rhythm going a little bit, I think there's a decent chance that Haaland could come on still, even if he doesn't start. Perisic for Robbo. I don't mind that, but there's obviously a decent chance that Perisic doesn't start. You can have my weight. I will donate for free, Ross. If you could donate some weight to me for free, that's absolutely fantastic. It's a blessing most of the time, but I've got a really high metabolism and I find it really difficult to put on weight. But I'm desperately trying. I have to eat like a maniac constantly. It's very expensive trying to put on weight. A defender from Southampton is a good idea. Is it a good idea? No, never. I don't trust the Southampton defence at all. Please answer me and Victor's questions. What is yours and Victor's questions? Your question is Sanchez or Raya. I would say Sanchez, but he's obviously 0.1 more. But I still prefer Sanchez. Oh, Sanchez or Raya on the bench. Well, you've got both of them. This week, I would be starting Raya. I think Leeds will score, to be honest. I don't know if they'll score a lot, but I think they'll get one. And Raya makes more saves. So yeah, I would lean towards Raya there. Ross, in 5 years, you will not struggle to gain weight. Yeah, that's true. I'll regret complaining about putting on weight. Do you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ross? I do, but I'm not very hungry in the morning, to be honest. I'm not a big breakfast person. It won't let me super chat you. Ah, that's all right. Just ask a question. I'll try and look out for it. But yeah, if you do want to super chat, you basically just click that dollar button. Some countries don't support it, but you just click that dollar button, type in the amount, and then type in the question. You do have to send a certain amount for it to do it. So like, it might be that you're not sending enough. I'm not asking for you to send a lot, but you have to send a certain amount for it to allow you to send a question in. What is your opinion on Kulusevski? I like Kulusevski, definitely. I do think there's a small chance he's rotated, but at the moment, if anyone's going to be rotated for Richarlison, it looks more likely to be Son. So I think Kulusevski's fine for the moment. Good morning, Ross. What's your thoughts on ASM from Gameweek 6 onwards? I don't mind him. I haven't looked at his stats so far this season. He just feels like, for me, he's more of a good asset to watch, but not necessarily an FPL asset. He reminds me a little bit of Eze, a little bit of Aronson so far, where they're absolutely a joy to watch, but they're not necessarily Traore going to get you that many attacking returns. So I think there could be better options. Game week 5, 2 free transfers. Haaland to Tony and De Silva to Rodrigo. Yeah, that's quite a nice set of transfers, but it would bring you to probably 1 premium, which I'm not that sure on. Eat late, then go to bed. I do eat late. But you sound like a 4th meal. I don't like eating just before bed either, to be honest. I'm a bit of a fussy raptor. Fussy raptor, that sounds like a strange name. I want to see some transfers, Ross. It's getting boring. My transfer isn't going to make it any more exciting. My transfer is not going to make it any more exciting. I'm here for you guys to help answer your questions. We can move over to Hub, and you guys can give me your questions, though, if you want to. Let's go Toolbox. Points predictions. We can have a quick look at who's predicted to get the most points this week. No surprise, Salah in an absolute league of his own at 9.3. Kane second, though. So if you are looking for a decent captaincy choice, look at that. Salah, Kane, Trent, and Son. Then Luis Diaz. So the top 5 are Spurs and Liverpool assets. So maybe they're the ones to focus on this week with your captaincy. I mean, that's not particularly exciting, or that's not particularly a revelation, is it? Any player comparisons you guys want me to do? Happy to do some player comparisons. Marcus says, this guy's anything but boring. I appreciate that. It's funny, before I started YouTube, I used to hate talking and I used to hate just contributing to conversations. I used to think I was a really boring person. And I hate my voice. Oh, listening back to your voice the first few times when you record a video is disgusting. But there wouldn't be 1,000 people here if I was completely boring, I guess. Are you planning on getting a Leeds midfielder soon? Yes, I am. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Tony and Mbermo. I really like that. That's a really good shout. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness, Ross. Where are your fingers? What are you doing? There you go, Tony. Tony and Mbermo. Not too dissimilar. Interesting. Not too dissimilar at all. We can zoom in a little bit for you to see some of the specific stats. So XG's higher for Tony. 0.43 XG for Tony. 0.28 for Mbermo. Big chances higher for Tony. So by all accounts, Tony is coming out on top definitely, but Mbermo's not far behind, and he's still putting up some pretty decent numbers. So XG of 0.28 for an Mbermo and XA of 0.36. It's not bad. Thought it was 0.64 expected goal involvement. Mbermo could still be an option. He could still be an option for sure. But yeah, Tony's definitely the one to own. Tony's definitely the one to own. Expected points is slightly higher from Mbermo. Maybe just because he's sorry, it's high for Tony, isn't it? What's higher for Mbermo? So Mbermo's getting more shots on target, and more crosses. So by all accounts, Tony's still the one to go for. But I don't mind Mbermo if you can't afford Tony and you still want to get into that Brentford attack. Sorry, we've got 2 super chats I've missed whilst I was doing that. Andrew Shaw, thank you very much. Comes through with a €10. Says, loving the channel. My team is solid. Just need to make a decision on who to start. Andreas versus Arsenal or De Silva versus Everton. So this decision basically comes down to, do you value form and do you value the better asset, or do you value the fixture? Right? Because if you're valuing who is the better asset, Andreas is the better asset. He's got more routes to points. I think that he looks more likely to get a return when I watch. So eye test passed. I think underlying data is better. We'll check it now. But the fixture for De Silva is obviously much better. Like, I think Everton really aren't great in defence, whereas Arsenal, I think, have a very solid defence. Let's do it because it was a super chat. Let's have a quick Andreas versus De Silva comparison. Yeah, by all accounts, Andreas, De Silva's is really disappointing there, isn't it? Wowza. So De Silva is in red, Andreas is in blue. So you can see Andreas getting more crosses, chances created, big chances created, expected assist, expected points, expected goals. He's higher on absolutely every metric there. So Andreas is the better asset, but like I said, De Silva's got the better fixture. And Andreas is more nailed. I think I said De Silva earlier, but I might lean towards Andreas, you know. De Silva's just not showing anything. He's not showing anything at all that would suggest that he's going to get returns. That doesn't mean that he won't. Again, this doesn't predict the future. I can only tell you what we've seen over the first 3 game weeks. Got another super chat from Ben. I disagree. Haaland seems too risky to warm up, warm down and play just for 15 minutes during which he could get injured. My guess is he plays 0 minutes if he doesn't start. Well, that would be amazing. If that is the case, I like that. And if we see that is the case, that when Haaland's rested, he doesn't feature at all, it means that we can comfortably captain Haaland. And if he doesn't start, we get our vice captaincy. Whereas at the moment, until I see what I understand what you're saying, Ben. Until I see that, I still don't feel comfortable captaining Haaland because there's a small chance that he makes a cameo appearance. So it's a tough one. Rosh, you missed my second super chat. I'm very sorry. You did a second super chat. Cool, I've just seen it. Also have Salah and KDB started with freemium. Oh, I see. If that's the case, then go for it. If that's the case, then go for it. The reason I don't like normally doing like a Haaland to Tony is because I don't like only having 1 premium. But if you've already got 2 premiums, yeah, I really like that. Go for it. Very nice transfers. Someone just said, do Kane versus Haaland. Absolutely. Why doesn't Haaland come up? Is it because I have to do the special A? I don't actually know, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have a look in a second. We can do it on Opta Stats, to be fair. Let's do it on Opta Stats. I'm sure Haaland comes up when you do it here. Yeah, very strange. So we'll select Haaland. This is what I do for my videos, by the way. If you want to see what I have to do for the videos, just to then show selected players, then you can make a comparison that way as well. So I mean, you won't be able to see expected goal involvement. Let's do per start rather than per 90. Expected goal involvement for Haaland is 1.5 per start. Harry Kane is 1.1. So, I mean, Harry Kane's not putting up bad underlying data by any means, but expected points per start is 9.17 for Haaland. Expected points per start for Kane is 6.92. This also takes into account early subs for Haaland, right? Because this is per start rather than per 90. If you make it per 90, well, Haaland just becomes an even better asset, but he's not going to play 90 minutes. So it is something worth noting. It's probably worth looking at per start for Haaland and Kane. So, yes. That's that. Let's mix it up. There we go. Can look at my team in that graphic instead. Got a super chat from Abdullah. Says, here we go. Fofana, thoughts about price increase. Well, he's going to... Obviously, they can't increase his price now, so it stays at 4.4. But I do think he'll go up to 4.5 relatively quickly because a lot of people will bring him in. Here we go. Fofana, thoughts about price increase. Yep, did that one. I think that's it for the super chats. Type in his first name, Erling. How does that work? There we go. Toolbox. Player comparisons. So you're telling me if I type in Erling, there we go. You guys are clever. I like that a lot. Here we go. Harry Kane versus Erling on this then. It's just a nice visual, isn't it? I mean, that is the perfect visual to summarize it. We're seeing a little bit more creativity, of course, from Kane. More through balls, more chances created, more crosses. But we're seeing just better underlying data elsewhere with Haaland. More expected points, more expected goals, more big chances, more shots in the box. He's just a better asset. I genuinely believe that. I said in my video that it's a downgrade if you go from Haaland to Kane. That upset quite a few people, but I genuinely do believe that when they're both available, Haaland is the better asset, even with reduced minutes. Like I said, this is per start. If you did this per 90 minutes, it becomes an even bigger difference, right? Kane looks at you like an even worse asset. So I do genuinely still believe Haaland's the better asset. And I think I'm going to try and hang on to him if I can. By the way, if you want access to all of these tools, like I said, 30% off, link in the description to Fantasy Football Hub. It's like the second link in the description. Do check that out. Apparently, Team News Antics has said that he's going to get us early team news for the Man United game. Not that that particularly matters for a lot of people, but if you're looking for Southampton or Man United news, we should get it in this live stream. Who's the best mid-priced non-Leeds midfielder in your opinion? I would say maybe still Pascal Gross. I think Rashford could be the decent option. Obviously, Martinelli is the best, but I assume you have Martinelli. There's not, to be honest. I think Leeds midfielders are the best option. Do you think FPL needs to add more scoring opportunities to the game to make it more interesting? Getting a little bit bored of the template. I've discussed this before. No, I think the best thing about FPL is how simple it is. I think everyone loves that you get points for goal, clean sheet, and assist. I think if you start introducing points for interceptions, points for this, points for... It just starts to... We're losing what is brilliant about FPL, which is you watch the game and you hope your player scores, assists, or keeps clean sheet. I think already due to bonus points, like sometimes I'll find myself like counting passes and looking at pass accuracy. It ruins the game a little bit for me. I love the simplicity of FPL. There are games out there like Sky Fantasy Football where there are more subtleties to the scoring system. And like you can play those for a bit of fun. But for me, I love the simplicity of FPL. Which nicely leads us on to... just quickly, by the way, guys. Don't worry, this won't take a long time. I'll go straight back to answering your questions. But I'm going to talk about this later on in the stream once the deadline's gone. But if you want to support the channel in some way, or you just want to play a really cool sort of in-play fantasy football game, there is a link in the description to Fanslide. It is 18 plus, but all of the games that I'll recommend you guys play and all of the games that I play are completely free to play. So it is free to play. You can only do it in certain countries. I think it's predominantly the UK, but do check it out. Link in the description. As you can see here, you basically slide players in and out from the game, hence the name Fanslide, and they score points for you throughout the game, and you can only own them for like 20 minutes at a time. So basically, you have to try and predict when certain players will do well throughout the game, and they'll either get you sort of double, triple, or single points. So if you think Harry Kane's doing specifically well at a certain point, or in this example here, you can see Walker, Ake, Rodri, they will get you certain points based on different things. Like I genuinely have been enjoying playing it. So you can see here, Rodri gets a defensive header one, he gets you 2 points. Like someone will switch the ball. Like for example, if Kevin De Bruyne switches the ball, you'll get a point for that. And I just think it's a really fun game. So as I'm watching the football, I'm just playing Fanslide. So you can see here, defensive header one. There are loads of different point scoring systems. It's switch of play, interceptions, but you can also get negative points for things such as like a red card or a yellow card. I love it, honestly. And it's just, it takes the stress off. Like if you're playing FPL and it's not going well for you, you can do some certain other things. So you can see here, Rodri then gets a defensive block. That gets you another point. So we were discussing how certain assets like a Rodri or a Kante wouldn't be good options in FPL. They're actually really good options in Fanslide. So all you'd need to do is click the link in the description to download it. Like I said, it's free to play. And then play the Southampton versus Man United game with me. So if you join using my link in the description, you'll be entered into my mini league. And then if you're in my mini league and you play the game today, you can play against me and you can try and beat me in the mini league. And there is a £100 prize for the winner. So it's free to play. You massively help support the channel just by downloading it. Even if you don't play, you're still supporting the channel. But try and give it a go. Try and give it a go. You support me, support the channel. And yeah, I really have been enjoying playing it. You can just see here, this is midway through the game. So if you're interested in how it looks once you're in the game, you can then look at the stats, you can look at the players, you can slide them in and out throughout the game. So it's a very sort of active game that you can play whilst you're watching the football. And like I said, it does really, really help to support the channel. Done. Should I buy a Perisic? I still think he's a great asset, but I don't know if he's going to start this week. I'm completely honest. I don't have a clue. Fanslide is so fun. Thanks for sharing it. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying it's fun and for putting that comment in the chat. Yeah, I really enjoy Fanslide. I really do. It's something that I play anyway. Even if I won't have these integrations in the videos, I'd still play Fanslide. Are Zaha and Martial injured? Yes to both of those. Zaha and Martial are both out injured. Is it a good idea to double up on Leeds midfielders? Yes, I do think so. I think that one is enough, though. I don't think you need to, but in my opinion, I think a double up is fine. The thing is, we could quite easily see Leeds start to drop off, and then you're sat there with double leads and wishing that you didn't have double leads. But at the moment, I don't see that many other good assets at that price. The other thing you could do is switch a little bit of funds into your attack. And if you do that, what you'll end up doing is maybe opening up options such as an Isak or a Welbeck or a Tony or an Mbeumo. And there are a few Mitrovic. There are quite a few decent sort of mid-priced strikers. So I wonder if it might be worth going for one Leeds midfielder and then switching some of the funds to the attack. Good morning, Ross. Was good talking to you yesterday. Good talking to you too, mate. I've pulled the trigger and bought in Harrison for Aronson. I love it. Yeah, I think due to the price rise, it's probably worth doing. It's probably worth doing. Would you rather captain KDB or Haaland? I would rather Haaland. What's the name of the Spurs lineup predictor on Twitter? His name is Paul O'Keefe, but I don't think we've seen anything from Paul O'Keefe yet. Let's have a look. No, I don't think we've seen. The only thing that Paul O'Keefe said is that Perisic is fit and available for selection. He did not say he was starting or not starting. I think he was just commenting on the fact that Perisic is available. If Conte wants to choose him, he can choose him. I don't think I would read too much into that, to be perfectly honest. Can you link him? Yep, can link him. I don't think he's going to get anything for us, to be perfectly honest, guys, but I can link him for sure. There you go. By the way, if you're enjoying the live stream, do drop a like on the live stream. Do subscribe to the channel. Weekly content, at least 4 pieces of content every single week. I do really appreciate it. We're almost at 500 likes. So if you just tap that little thumbs up down below, it would massively support the channel. Start Edouard Mendy or Sanchez. I would start... God, that's a good one. I'd start Sanchez, to be honest. I'd probably start saying, I don't know. Now Maddison's out. No, with Maddison out, I'd start Mendy. If Maddison was fit, I would have started Sanchez, but Maddison out makes me think Mendy might be the one. I have 5.6 million. Should I buy Perisic or go safe with someone like Zinchenko? I like Zinchenko a lot. I'd maybe lean towards Zinchenko, Harry. But listen, Perisic is the one that's got that ridiculously high ceiling, so... Have you seen much of Anthony? He looks a serious baller. Yeah, I've watched a bit of him in the Champions League, and I've obviously seen all of the highlights and stuff. He does look incredible. Thoughts on his price if he comes to Old Trafford? What do we think, guys? What do we think Anthony would be priced at? I think he would come in at 7 million. You got Rashford at 6.5. You got Sancho at 7.5. I reckon they could slap him somewhere in the middle, about 7 million. I need to make my transfer soon. I'm just leaving it just in case we get some news that makes me think there's a better transfer to make. Ross, Anthony would be at least 9 million. No way. There's no way they make Sancho 7.5 and they make Anthony 9. There's absolutely no way in hell that happens. I think we're talking a maximum 8, but more likely it'll be 7 or 7.5. Especially with Rashford at 6.5. There's no way they can make Anthony that expensive. Max says, great stream, Ross. My team is similar to yours, bar 3. Sanchez, Walker, Perisic to your Ramsdale, Trippier, and Gross. Okay. I think you probably come out on top this week then by the sounds of it. Could you do a Trippier versus Perisic comparison? Of course I can. Perisic is going to come out massively on top. I can guarantee that for you now. Perisic's data is unbelievable when he plays. So we will put Perisic in blue. Oh, Perisic. There. That data looks a little bit weird. Data does look a little bit weird, doesn't it? Per start, that's why. Let's go per appearance. Or per 90. Why is his XG that low? Is his XG actually that low? Interesting. Let's carry on. The reason it was slightly weird was because it was per start. And obviously, Perisic has come off the bench a couple of times. So it depends if you want to include his bench appearances. So Trippier is at a 0.1 expected goal involvement, which is good, not great. He's creating some chances. You can see what's great about Trippier is he's got a lot of good statistics for bonus points. So Trippier will pick you up a lot of bonus points. But by all accounts, Perisic is a monster. Right? His expected assist is 0.76 per 90. And his expected goal is 0.2. So by all accounts, Perisic is an excellent option. But you want those clean sheets and you want those bonus points. That's only going to come if he's playing at least 60 minutes. It all comes down to your prediction for expected minutes for Perisic, to be honest. If you expect him to get a lot of minutes, bring him in. If you don't, leave him out. Nice and simple. Got a super chat. It says Neto for Gross and Bailey for Rodrigo. Good idea. Do you mean... I don't know which way you're going here. I wouldn't take out Bailey and I wouldn't bring in Bailey. So I like the... I don't know which way you've gone here. I doubt you're bringing in Neto and Bailey for Gross and Rodrigo. I assume you're bringing in Gross and Rodrigo for Neto and Bailey. I don't mind it, but I think Bailey could do quite well this week, to be honest. There's loads of requests for player comparisons. You can do that all yourself on the Fantasy Football Hub website. Like I said, link in the description, 30% off. I think it's £2.10 per month with a 30% off. So if you want access to that player comparison feature, £2.10, use the link in the description. Because I think it will get a little bit monotonous if I just sit here and just do loads of player comparisons. I think it's better if I just answer some of your questions. Saliba or Dunk? It depends. If you've not got any cover for the Arsenal defence at the moment, I'd probably go Saliba, but I do like Dunk as an option. I like Veltman as an option too. I do like the Brighton defence a lot. What's the reason behind the name Raptor? I am a very casual Toronto Raptors fan from the NBA. So that was the reason for that. Do you think the season's prices are cheap? Yeah, they're way too cheap. I should not be able to afford a full squad of Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, and then maybe like an odd Spurs player. Like if I brought in Perisic for Trippier and I had a Chelsea option or a City option in that spot for Gross and maybe like downgraded Diaz, then like you can afford a full squad, especially if you go 5 at the back of teams from the top 5 or 6 clubs. That shouldn't be feasible. It basically rules out picks from lower leagues, like teams that are down in the table. What made you support Manchester United? My granddad's a Manchester United fan. He started supporting Manchester United when he was a kid, and yeah, that was the reason. So it's more generational than it was a choice, to be honest. And yeah, that was my exposure to football, was through my sort of granddad and my mum, who are both Man United fans. No shot. I thought you were a Jurassic Park fan. I don't have an issue with Jurassic Park. But yeah, the reasoning for it was from Toronto Raptors. Sup, bruv? I'm a Premier League newbie. When is the best time to use your bench boost? I would use your bench boost in the back end of the season. Normally from sort of game week 26 and beyond. We get these things that are called double game weeks. And in a double game week, you'll get all of the points from 2 games. So, for example, Salah might have like Bournemouth and Fulham, or like you can get some really good double game weeks. So I would always do that, because what happens is you can almost get sometimes you can get a full bench of people that play twice. So rather than having 4 fixtures, you could have 8 fixtures to bench boost. So I would generally advise bench boosting later on in the season. Thoughts on Welbeck? I love Welbeck as an option. I really do. So I've been just thinking about this. Let's have a quick switch over here. I've been thinking about next week, if I do something along the lines of, and it is going to be bold taking out Diaz, right? No, what am I doing? If I do Diaz to Harrison, who will be 6.1 at this stage, I'd have 6.8 million. So I could maybe do like that. That's an option. The other option I've got is if I want to just suck up owning, in my opinion, the worst of the 3 Leeds midfielders, which would be Aronson, I would actually have enough then to get Ivan Toney in. All right, so I could get Toney into that spot. For, again, really nice fixtures. Palace, Leeds, Southampton, Arsenal. I really like that run of 4. Or if I want to, I have the option to go for Mitrovic. But again, Mitrovic's fixtures just aren't as good. But he is really passing the eye test. That's the thing. But Brighton, Tottenham, Chelsea, Forest, I think you could probably do slightly better. I'm realistically looking to maybe have Mitrovic on my wild card. And then the other option would be taking a bit of a punt on the new man, Mr. Isaac, or Isaac. Well, he would have Liverpool, so I wouldn't really want to play him in game week 5. But then Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth is a nice run of 3 fixtures. So I mean, there's some decent options in here. I could quite easily switch the funds to that attacking position, and that would be a decent use of my 2 free transfers. But it does mean losing Diaz. But to answer your question, yeah, I don't have any issue. I don't have any issue with Welbeck. I think he's a good shout. Let's Talk FPL just tweeted that he thinks Robertson plays. Yeah, I have no doubt that Robertson would play. I think Robertson's more likely to miss the next fixture for Liverpool, the midweek game. Is there any logic with the position of players in your squad? Need to be in price order for me. I used to do it according to colour. I used to colour code. I can't be bothered now, to be honest. But I used to colour code it. But I understand there are reasons to structure your team in a different way. But no, I just sort of leave mine, to be honest. Cool. We've got a massive super chat from Frosty once again. Big love to Frosty. Ridiculous generosity every single week. If you're new to the channel, Frosty's the GOAT. Frosty says, with a big £20 super chat, name the manager. Got relegated in 6th year, then couldn't get promoted in the 7th year, left the club. Lost the cup final and left the club in the 7th year. Has the worst start to a season in his 7th year, 7th season syndrome. I mean, I know the answer to this. Does anyone else know the answer to this? Who has been known to have 7th season syndrome? let me know in the chat. But thank you very much for the super chat. And yes, there may be something behind struggling over an elongated period potentially. If you shave your beard, do you look like an old man or a baby? I look like a baby. I look like an absolute baby if I shave my beard and an egg. I look like an egg, but an egg baby. We got a super chat from Talis 1986. Hiya, I have Trent, Cancelo, Perisic, and I need to choose between Zinchenko and Williams or Saliba and Trippier. What would you recommend? Saliba and Trippier. If you have to play them every week, Saliba and Trippier. If you only have to play one of them each week, maybe Zinchenko and Williams. Zinchenko's the best there, but I don't like the idea of having to regularly start Williams, to be honest. Clippity Klopp. Yeah, it is Klopp. It's interesting, though. It's interesting. I know there's a lot of trolling about Klopp, but we'll see. I think he's fine, to be honest. The thing that I would say about Klopp, and people say that he's been like this for a while, but I'm a sport... I was going to say I'm a sports psychologist. I'm not. I'm interested in sports psychology. I'm doing a PhD in sports psychology. I lecture in sports psychology as well. So I understand all of the theory around sort of leaderships, management styles, and how managers need to act to get the best out of their players. The things that Klopp is saying at the moment is an absolute disaster. He used to be really, really good. He used to say things along the lines of, like, it's not the player's responsibility, it's mine. He used to say things that distracted the media away from the players, but now he's just coming out with ridiculously strange things. And he doesn't seem quite with it in his interviews anymore. Sorry, Frosty. Thank you. Yeah, I missed your super chat, Andrew. He said Diaz or Walker. I would go Walker, personally, myself. If I do miss a super chat, I really apologise. I'm not deliberately doing it. And let me know if I do, and I'll go back and have a look at it. Hi, I'm enjoying the live. Thank you very much for enjoying the live stream. I appreciate that. I've not replaced Saka yet. Fulham's fixture's good. I'll be honest, I would have kept Saka this week. But I think there's justification to sell Saka, for sure. If you're going to sell him, though, the issue is I don't know who you would sell for this week. I would maybe wait and then move him to a Leeds midfielder next week. Is free hit okay to use this week? You are more than welcome to use it this week. I would argue it's one of the worst weeks to play it, though, because everyone else's team's looking good. If I were to free hit this week, my team would look pretty much identical to what my current team looks like. So I don't think it's the best time to free hit, no. Have £8 million mids been the ultimate disappointment this season? They have. And I'm a bit annoyed because I did tell everyone to have an £8 million slot. So I kind of feel a bit guilty that I kept advising everyone to pick an £8 million mid. I think the logic was there. And like again, if we look at the players that we have available as £8 million midfielders, going to be 8.5 now, isn't it? Right, at that spot there, I mean, we've got a few price falls now, but we had Bowen at 8.5, got Kulusevski, Maddison, Diaz, Foden, Saka, Mount, Mahrez, Gundogan, some extent, and then Sancho. The only ones that I've been seriously impressed with is Gundogan, and then maybe Maddison and Kulusevski, but Maddison's just so injury-prone, the fixtures weren't great. Kulusevski is probably the one to own at the moment, to be honest. With these fixtures coming up, he's been playing pretty much every minute. Look at that, 85, 90, 85. But even Kulusevski's blanked 2 games in a row. It's been super disappointing. Specifically, Mahrez, Mount, Saka, Foden, and Diaz, I've been incredibly disappointed with. So yeah, it really has been disappointing. Which is a shame. That probably has been the most disappointing aspect of the season thus far for the players. Got a super chat from Mr. Thomas. He says, would you gamble Walker to Perisic with no cover on your bench? Probably yes. Probably. I like the high upside chasing, but the thing is, I think Walker's an excellent option. It depends who you are as a manager, Thomas. If you're a risky manager, go for it. If you're trying to take a risk that maybe doesn't suit your management style, then I wouldn't. What you've got to be willing to happen is you've got to be willing for Perisic to be benched and get a 1-pointer and Walker to get a 6-pointer. If that won't affect you too negatively and you think, I'm still happy I made the choice, then go for it. FPL Rengoku has arrived. Arrived quite some time ago, but forgot to announce my arrival. Absolutely fine, mate. Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. I like that you say yes and shake your head no at the same time. Do I do that? Is that a little tell? I've done a little bit of research into body language and micro expressions, and that's normally a tell that you are lying about you. If you say yes, that probably means your answer is no. And if you say no, but nod your head, like if you say no, then that probably means you mean yes. A little bit of psychology for you there. It's not always the case, to be fair. It's not always the case. I'm not saying I'm lying to you on my streams, by the way. It's probably because I'm multitasking. My head moves like this constantly anyway. Maybe one day I'll do like a behind the scenes of a stream so that you guys can see what it's for those of you that don't live stream, so that you know what it's like to live stream. Do you feel like it's time to let go of Trent if he plays terribly today? I'm still going to keep him, but there's definitely justification. There's justification to sell Trent as it is, but I just don't know what I would want to do with that money. If I'm downgrading Trent, who do I think is a better option than Trent? I'm not sure that I fancy anyone to outscore Trent. I know how it is. I use 3 screens as well. I've actually reduced it to... I have 3 in front of me, but I've reduced it to 2. You missed my super chat. Cool, just seen it. Haaland and Eze for Tony and Diaz. I don't know which way you're going. I assume you're selling Haaland and Eze for Tony and Diaz. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not sure I like selling Haaland, to be honest. I do think that Tony and Diaz are maybe a slightly better combination than Haaland and Eze. But does Haaland have the ability to outscore Tony and Diaz by himself? Yes. I wonder if you can just do like Eze to Arrington or Eze to Harrison. Because if you told me, is Haaland and a Leeds midfielder better than Tony and Diaz, I would maybe say yes to that. So it's up to you, mate. I don't mind the set of transfers, but I still really think... I still believe in Haaland. I still believe in Haaland. Guys, do you want to do some predictions quickly? Let me know in the chat. I've got some predictions ready. Would you rather me do some predictions for the Game Week 4 results, or do you want me to just answer your questions? I'll do a poll. Let's do a poll. I just don't want to bore people because last couple of live streams that I've done, I'm happy to admit this. Last couple of live streams that I've done, when I start doing predictions, the view count just drops. So it makes me think that people don't enjoy me sitting there doing predictions. So I'll put it to the I'll put it to the chat. I've just put a poll in the chat. Let me know. I'll run it for a couple of minutes. If you guys want me to do predictions, I'll do that. If you'd rather me just chill and answer questions, I can do that too. And of course, make sure when the deadline goes, don't tune out of the live stream, because when the deadline ends, when the deadline is come and gone, we will just do a kicked back Q&A. We'll just talk about life. It's the best part of the live stream. So do not leave me when the deadline goes. Zodiac says, I love predictions. Mods can help answer questions as well. Would you like to be a mod, by the way, Zodiac? I'm happy to make you a mod because you're in every live stream anyway. If you would like to be a mod, say yes, and I shall make you a mod now. See, look, I've just put that poll. 60 people just dropped from the live stream when I said predictions. So this is why I'm hesitant to do them. But we'll see. Right. Most people want predictions. Other people saying only answer questions. So I'll still answer as many questions as possible. But I'll still have the predictions on the screen as well. We'll do like a best of both. If you trust me enough, that would be an honor. Of course I trust you enough. There you go. You should now be a moderator when you type stuff in the chat. Right, let's do this. Predictions. Where are my predictions? It's that. Then it's that. Excellent. Here we go. Here are my predictions for Game Week 4. So we'll run through them one at a time. And as I always do, we'll talk about it. And then I'll ask you in the chat to give me your predictions as well. I know a lot of people are saying they want to be mods. I need to see you in the stream repeatedly. And then you can potentially be a mod. But yeah. Right. So Southampton versus Manchester United. Feel free to keep asking your questions at the same time. Southampton versus Manchester United. What are your score predictions? Are Saints going to come out on top or are Man United going to come out on top? Would you consider Jesus as captain this week? Yeah, Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I still think I prefer Salah, but I would consider Jesus for sure. Noob question here. If I have 5 defenders on field and one of them doesn't play, how does the automatic sub work? You just get your first sub. So what happens in FPL with subs and automatic substitutions is you always get your first sub, assuming that that formation can be fulfilled. So if you're playing a 3-5-2 and your first sub is a midfielder, you need at least 3 defenders, which means your defender would come on. So it's always in order of first, second, third, but you have to fulfill the formation that FPL allow. Hopefully that makes sense. A lot of people saying 2-1, 1-1, 1-1, 3-0. Okay, a lot of people actually back in Man United to potentially win. I like that. I don't think this will be an easy game by any means, but I certainly do believe that Manchester United have enough to come out on top here. All I hope is that he doesn't make massive changes to the starting 11. I hope Casemiro comes in for McTominay, and arguably I would leave it there, to be honest. I would leave it there. But I just hope that he doesn't bring Maguire and Shaw back in. Zodiac has just become a Rap Tier 1 member. Look at that. I make you mod, you support the channel. A bit of give and take there. I appreciate that. Drop me a message. We'll add you to the Discord chat as well. And I'll add you to the mini league and stuff like that as well. Casemiro is a nice buy. Casemiro is a nice buy, isn't he? Trade Archer or we riot. Archer's going to be coming out very soon. Right. Brentford versus Everton. I found this one very tricky to predict. What do we think? (2-0), okay. 2-1, 3-1. Okay, most people predicting a Brentford win. Anyone fancy Everton or anyone fancy a draw? I don't know if there's going to be a load of goals in this, or I don't know if there's going to be absolutely no goals. I'm finding it really... Is Clive in the chat? Mr. Clive, are you in the chat? Clive's normally decent enough at predicting Brentford games. Yeah, most people are predicting this to be low scoring, although Frosty said 2-2. Yeah. Mope hat-trick. Yeah, maybe. Tony will crush them. Yeah, I think most people are expecting Brentford to come out on top there. I think it's a good game to start your Brentford players, probably. I just think that maybe Everton's new tactic needs to just be don't concede, because they're not offering a lot going forward, are they? Right. Brighton versus Leeds. This is a very tricky one. So what you've got here with Brighton Leeds, you've got Brighton, who are arguably one of the best defences in the league. You've got Leeds, who look like one of the best attacks in the league. Leeds are in form, Brighton are in form. It's a real like head-to-head clash, this. I think it makes for a very interesting viewing. I genuinely, like a lot of these fixtures, I'm finding it very tricky to predict at the moment. Lots of people predicting, the large majority predicting draws. 1-1, 2-2, 2-2, 0-0, 1-0. I'm hoping that Brighton get at least 1, and hopefully it's Pascal Gross. Anyone predicting Brighton to get at least 2, you're a good friend. You're a friend of mine, because that means Pascal Gross has a decent chance of getting a return. I could do with a Pascal Gross return. I just think these are 2 very good teams at the moment. Brighton, in my opinion, are a fantastic team. Defensively attacking, I just think they're a good team. I would argue that Brighton are a top 8 team in the Premier League. Leeds, at the moment, are performing excellently. It's just how long they can keep that up. This will probably be the last week that I don't own any Leeds players. So I'm hoping that this is the week where Leeds struggle. And I think if Leeds do struggle this week, less people will bring them in next week, which I like. So I'd really like, ideally, Leeds to not score. But we'll see. Polkit says either a good friend or they also own Gross. Yeah. I think we are slightly biased by the assets that we own. Brighton have been good since last season. Brighton have just been good for a while. Graham Potter is genuinely an exceptional manager. Exceptional. Cool. Apparently, according to Team News and Ticks, Manchester United have an unchanged 11. Is it on his Instagram again? He's putting everything on his Instagram, isn't he? Rather than on his Twitter. Yeah, he's put it on his Instagram, but apparently Let's have a look here. Yeah, so Manchester United unchanged, which means Alanga, Rashford, Sancho start. It means that Malacia and Varane start. But what it does mean is that Casemiro doesn't come in quite yet. So we did predict this in a lot of us in the Manchester United group that we're in. We think Casemiro will come off the bench and then start Leicester and Arsenal. Are you making 0 transfers this week? I think I'll make 1 transfer. I don't know what yet, to be honest. Right, Chelsea versus Leicester. Thank you very much, FPL Scope, for being a member for 6 months, by the way. I appreciate the support. What do we think for Chelsea-Leicester? I think this one could have some goals in it, to be fair. Do you prefer Ronaldo being benched? I do prefer Ronaldo being benched, yes. I do, for sure. Sorry, all sorts of stuff popping up there, doing my head in. Right. Of course, some really different predictions for this one. 3-1 Leicester. 3-1. A lot of people saying sort of, it looks like the general predictions at the moment are Chelsea to win and both teams to score. Although a couple of people saying a Chelsea clean sheet. I reckon the people that are saying Chelsea clean sheet probably have Cucurella and James. Probably do. That would make a lot of sense. But I think 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. It could be a tight game. To be honest, Chelsea and Leicester, neither of them have offered a lot going forward. I've got a feeling the reason he's on this list here, the reason that you can see Sterling, is I think Sterling's going to pop off this week. I'm predicting Sterling to get a double-digit haul. I reckon he could get a double-digit haul. So that's why I'm predicting Chelsea 3, Leicester 1. Right, what about Liverpool-Bournemouth? I found this a slightly tricky one as well. I didn't know whether to go sort of like 5-0 Liverpool or like 1-0. I still think Liverpool win convincingly, but I don't know how many goals they'll end up grabbing. FPL Scope says, no question, just wanted to say thank you for all of the content. I appreciate you. And I appreciate you so much. That is extremely kind. Anyone that takes the time and money to donate just to say thank you is ridiculously nice. We need more people like that in this world. Not that donate money to me, but that show that sort of kindness. That is very nice of you. Thank you. What are we saying? 37-0 says Chewy FPL. I could see it. I could see it. 4-0, 2-0, 9-0, 3-0, 2-0. Sort of 2 or 3-0 looks pretty popular. 4-1, 4-1. Cool, we got a lot of 4-1s in there. Yeah, I could see that as well. Liverpool's defence just doesn't look quite at it. But at the same time, Bournemouth don't look great going forward. Is Solanke fit? Is Dominic Solanke fit? If he's fit, that maybe makes them a slightly... I don't actually know. I'm not going to lie. I'm not making many transfers at the moment, so press conferences aren't that exciting for me. FPL has him at 75% chance of playing. Don't know how accurate that is. Don't know how accurate that is, to be honest. Right, what was the next one? City Palace. Now, this is a very out there prediction. Very, very out there prediction. I've gone for City to absolutely batter Palace. The reason I say that is I just feel like it's coming. I feel like City just looks so good at the moment that I just think a battering is coming. And they tend to struggle against Palace, right? They've really struggled against Palace in the past. So I think a lot of people are hedging against City against Palace. And because Palace are a good defence. I just think City at the Etihad is absolutely insane. I think going into this busy period, Pep's going to want to absolutely attack this fixture. I think he's going to play a very strong 11. I think he'll rotate against Forest. I think we could see quite a few goals here. And it does make me wonder, should I be... Oh, I've got something in my eye. Should I be captaining Haaland as opposed to Salah? If I think City are going to batter Palace. But I think Liverpool can still grab 3 or 4. So, yeah. And then Frosty has said, if you reckon 4-0 City, why aren't you captaining Haaland? Because I think Liverpool and City will each score 3 or 4 goals. And Salah gets the extra point for a goal, extra point for a clean sheet. And he's on pens, for sure. Haaland could be on pens. Again, I think if I'm predicting it to be fairly close for how many goals City and Liverpool score, I've got to back the better fixture and the player that gets more points for returns. Palace won't roll over. I don't expect Palace to roll over necessarily. I just think that City are unbelievable. Also, just Crystal Palace have less now that Zaha's out, right? Without Zaha, they've got very little going forward. So I think City are just going to be able to absolutely dominate that game. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I know it's an unpopular one, of course. Right. Arsenal Fulham. This is another unpopular prediction. Oh, camera. Bye-bye, camera. What do we think for Arsenal versus Fulham? Again, probably an unpopular one because people think Arsenal are going to absolutely trounce Fulham. But I think that there's a small chance that Fulham offer something here. I really like the look of Fulham this year. Fulham look like a very decent outfit. A very decent outfit. I think Mitrovic in particular is going to cause all sorts of problems for that Arsenal defence. So that's why I've gone for 2-1. What's everyone else saying? 4-3, Richard says. I probably should start Andreas if we think it's going to be 4-3. 3-2, lots of goals. 3-2, 3-1, 4-1. All right, people are expecting a lot of goals in this game. Maybe I've predicted this. 2-0, people overrate Mitro, maybe. Mitrovic has played Premier League for the 3rd time now and finally looks good. Yep, he does. Yeah, I know my camera's off. Don't worry, I'm just resetting it. It overheats every sort of hour or so. It just gets a little bit hot. Andreas assist, hopefully. Listen, if you think Fulham are going to grab 2 or 3 goals, start Andreas because he'll probably be involved in that. I still think the Arsenal defence is pretty good, so I'm going to say Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. But it's definitely something to think about. I really like the look of Fulham at the moment. Cool. Next one, Aston Villa, West Ham. Who's your vice captain? I think my vice captain at the moment is actually Jesus, but come to think of it, I might end up switching that to Haaland, to be honest. But I probably won't need it anyway, will I? Aston Villa versus West Ham. I had no idea what to do here. Absolutely zero idea. I'm not been particularly impressed by West Ham or Villa, but I've been slightly more impressed by Villa. That being said, West Ham are just the better side, aren't they? So when in doubt, I back the better team. It is away, right? It's at Villa Park. I genuinely no idea. I've said that I would start Bailey, so maybe I think there will be goals. This was one of those where I'd literally just put down a random prediction. What do you guys think? I'm interested to see what you guys think on this one. 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Yeah, there's a lot of mixed results here. Some people saying Villa, some people saying West Ham. A lot of people saying draws. It does feel like the sort of game which could be a draw, doesn't it? It definitely does feel like that. Polkit says, people are asking to be mods. If you don't know about the camera overheating, think twice. It does feel like a prerequisite of being a mod is that you know that. I mean, Frosty's always first to actually tell me the camera's overheating, which I appreciate. Have West Ham shown they are the better team? When I'm looking at is a team a better team or not, I would back the last season's data and the season before that ahead of this season. I think 3 games is too little. I still think West Ham are an excellent outfit. I think Moyes is a brilliant manager. How many points is Sanchez predicted to get this week compared to Ramsdale? I can look for you. 2 seconds. We'll do the next one. The next one is Wolves versus Newcastle. I've predicted this to be the Garden Centre game. What do we think? Wolves, Newcastle. I've gone 0-0. As a Trippier owner, I would love 0-0. It also feels like there could be a lot of goals in that game, though. It's going to be 0-0 or like 3-3. So Sanchez is projected to get 4 points this game week. And Ramsdale is 4.4. So Ramsdale is ever so slightly ahead. Take of that what you will. I think they're both good options to start this week. 1-1, 0-1, 1-2. Yeah, a lot of people are saying 2-1 to Newcastle. They think they'll just about edge it. A lot of people are saying 1-0. Yeah, maybe 1-0 is the one. Maybe 1-0 Newcastle. Trippier goal, 15-pointer. I missed your super chat. I'm very sorry. Let me find it. Thoughts on Chilwell? I think Chilwell will start this week. I'm not sure that I would feel confident enough bringing him in, though. And even if he does start this week, he's not going to start consecutive games at the moment because Koulibaly will play left centre-back. Chilwell can play left wing-back. So, Cucurella can play left wing-back. So I think there's a decent chance that Chilwell starts this week, but I don't know how many of the next 3 or 4 he's going to get. So I think it's a bit of a wait and see on Chilwell myself. Pope clean sheet, please. Pope looked like he... A few people said this to me on the first deadline stream. Are we overlooking Pope? And I said, we probably are, and we definitely are. Like, Pope's been a very good £5 million keeper, and I think he probably will continue to be. The thing is, when you can get Trippier for a similar price... There we go. I think he's probably the one. Trippier or Walker? I think it's very close. If you can rotate Trippier out in game week 5 for someone like an Andreas, maybe Trippier. But if you just want that consistent player to tick along, it's probably Kyle Walker, isn't it? 2-0 Newcastle, Isak to become the new must-own player people go mad for. I like that prediction, Webby. As long as it's Trippier crossing to Isak. Right, final game. Spurs versus Nottingham Forest. I've gone for a very optimistic 4-1 in the hope that Perisic loses his clean sheet if he starts. Because I could really do without a Perisic 15-pointer, to be honest. So, yeah, at the moment, I've gone Spurs 4. I think Spurs will have too much. Forest did look decent at home against West Ham, but West Ham accumulated like a 2.89 XG or something at the City ground at Forest. So I think Spurs will have far too much. I know they haven't looked great, Spurs, but I still think they'll have too much for Forest. 2-1 Spurs. I would love something like 2-1 Spurs. Minimal returns for Perisic, minimal returns for Kane. That would be, as someone that doesn't own any Spurs assets, that would be ideal. 3-1 Forest. Come on, you Reds. Fair enough, Frosty. 2-0 for Spurs. Easy. 2-0. Yeah, I could see that, to be fair. Perisic like 12-pointer again. I'm dreading it, to be honest. I still think I'm going to hold strong, though, and not bring in Perisic. 6-2 to Spurs. Wow, 6-2. I would cry. As someone that doesn't own any Spurs assets, that would be a disaster. An absolute disaster. Right, that's it for the predictions then. Another week done and dusted. Let's switch back to here and let me make my transfer. This is so boring, my word. So boring. So boring. Right, Archer out. Stansfield in. I think that's going to be it. I don't want to take Ramsdale out. I don't want to take Trippier out. I don't want to take Gross out. Does anyone object? It feels like at a wedding. I feel like I'm at a wedding. I'm about to marry my transfer of Archer to Stansfield. Does anyone object before I make this transfer? Does anyone see a better transfer to make to avoid me burning my transfer? Kulu for Diaz. I'll tell you what, that's actually not a bad shout, but I'm not going to take Diaz out before Bournemouth. Everyone's just shouting objection, speculation. Speak now, forever hold your peace. What are we objecting? Are we just shouting the word objection, or is there any objections here? I can't speak. No objections, Your Honour. Go ahead, Daddy. Okay, that's good. I'm going to do it then. I don't think I need. It's such a boring one, but listen, sometimes, like I said, sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing. This isn't really nothing, but it's very minimal, right? Archer to Stansfield. They need to remove the play free hit button. If anyone that is involved with FPL is watching this, the play free hit button should not be there. It should be on a different page, or it should be all the way below, and it should be in like bright red to say don't hit this. You make it such an appealing button to want to hit. I just almost hit play free hit. Instead, I want to hit confirm transfers. Such an exciting transfer. I don't know what to do with myself. Should we move him forward? Let's move him forward. This is really exciting. He's not even going to be third sub. He's going to be. Should we put him second sub or first sub? Fulham fans, are we expecting Stansfield to start this week? If we are, maybe I'll get Stansfield in there. Morning, bruv. Struggling this season with a newborn in the house. Oh, I bet you are, mate. I bet you are. Any last-minute team news / injuries? What are any team news? Martial's injured. Zaha is out injured. Was there anything else? Manchester United's team is unchanged. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's any other news. Walter Everson to save the 0.1. Yeah, I could have done that, but I actually think Archer to Stansfield is a bit of an upgrade. I'm not necessarily... I'm going to play Ramsdale every week anyway. I could have just... Frosty said flex and burn the... I could have just flexed and burned the transfer, but I think if in doubt, you can make that move, right? Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Chris. I appreciate the support, mate. Good to see you back in the chat. Perisic is starting, I hear. Very nice. Good for Perisic owners. Not very good for me, but there we go. Stansfield gets more minutes. Stansfield started in game week 3. Generally, I don't know if he's going to get more minutes than Archer, but there's a good chance Archer goes out on loan. So Stansfield got 7 minutes in game week 2 and then 76 in game week 3. I don't expect him to start every week, but I'm hoping that he might get a few minutes. You should tweet your team. I should tweet my team, shouldn't I? Let me do that. Good point. Tweet my team. It's very exciting. It's exciting times. It really is. Bang. Bang. In there you go. Goodness me, too many things open. Here we go. There's the team. What do we tweet? We tweet Game Week 4 team. And then we do a little lock emoji. Then we say 161k. This is how Raptor tweets his team. Then we do a little earth emoji. Then we say Salah. And then we do a little cap emoji. Because he's our captain. And then we say Archer. And then we do a little pointy point. This is exciting times, isn't it? Archer to Stansfield. Rolling the second free transfer. Good luck, everyone, because we spread positive vibes. Game week 14, Archer to Stansfield. Rolling the second free transfer. Good luck, everyone. Bang. Tweet. Tweet. We happy? Tweet. Tweet. There we go. Let's keep Twitter up, actually, because we might. There we go. Go like that tweet. I just saw Paul O'Keefe, didn't I? I think I just saw Paul O'Keefe just float down there. What's he tweeted? Okay. I don't know if he said that just to cover himself, but he says predicting 0 changes for Tottenham at Forest. So he's predicting Perisic to start. But then he said, this is just a prediction. I'm not responsible for your fantasy teams. So Perisic owners, it looks like you're going to be absolutely feasting. But I think if he starts this, there's no way he starts midweek. I can't see it anyway. So I think you have to accept that there's a good chance that if this is correct, then he doesn't play midweek. Who do I bench? Rodrigo, Cancelo, Perisic, or Trippier? I wouldn't want to bench any of those particularly. Probably Trippier. Probably, but I wouldn't want to bench any of them. Any big shocks this morning? Just woke up. Apparently Perisic starts according to Paul O'Keefe, but he said it's only a prediction. Zaha's injured, but we knew that yesterday. Manchester United team is unchanged. I think that's pretty much the only stuff we've had. I think that's pretty much the only stuff we've had. I think I'm happy with that bench order. I think I'm happy with that. I'm hoping I wouldn't need more than just Andreas anyway, and I'm definitely having Andreas first sub. It's just whether I have Stansfield and Williams switched. Is James playing right centre-back or right wing-back? I think there's a good chance he plays right wing-back this week. But I don't know. Hey, Raptor, one free transfer or hold or sell Ake. I don't think Ake's going to start, is he? I'm not sure. Again, I haven't really kept up to date with that. It depends who you've got on your bench, I guess. Maybe start Ake and make sure you've got a decent first sub. Got exactly the same bench. Great minds. Lovely stuff. It does feel weird having double Fulham on my bench, but there we go. Okay, Ake is still out. Cool. So yeah, I would maybe sell Ake then. Just go for Walker if you can afford it. Okay, Ake is out. City Extra mentioned it. Perfect. Thank you. How do you rank the £5 million defenders? Zinchenko, Walker, Cucurella, Trippier. I would probably say Zinchenko's at the top for me. Then the other three are fairly close, but I would definitely put Zinchenko at the top of the pile. He just looks so good. Looks integral to that Arsenal attack. Rodrigo or De Silva? I'd start Rodrigo. Neto or De Silva? That's a closer one. I'd still probably start Neto. Is Gundogan a good shout? I do think he's a good shout, but I wouldn't expect him to start the next 3 games, particularly. Chances of Leon Bailey starting, I think pretty high. I would be very shocked if he didn't start. By the way, you've only got 5 minutes, so lock in your teams. Make sure your teams are locked in. Let's do a little refresh as we always do. So, if you're interested in some really exciting, this is my transfer history so far this season. Wowza. How incredibly boring is that? We're now at the Gameweek 4 deadline, and I've done Bailey to Gross, and I've done Archer to Stansfield. That is so dull, but there we go. Stansfield. If you'd have told me at the start of the season by Gameweek 4 deadline, you would have only brought in 2 players, and that would be Gross and Stansfield, I would have said that was Gross, because I would have never normally considered Gross as an FPL asset, and I didn't even know who Stansfield was until last week. So there we go. Not especially exciting. Like I said, only a few minutes to lock your teams in. Make sure you've finished and you've got the captaincy sorted. Make sure you sort out your vice captaincy. I have switched my vice captain from Jesus to Haaland. So, just an opinion. Just an opinion that I think Haaland could be a decent shot. I expect Salah to be fit anyway. Opinions on triple captain Salah. I'm not a massive fan of that, no. Maddison and Archer for Harrison and Tony for a -4. Or just Maddison to Harrison and play Bailey. I would do just Maddison to Harrison and bench Bailey. And play Bailey, sorry. Stansfield is predicted to start today. He's a nice option. I'm tempted to put him first sub. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. So just quickly checking Twitter, seeing if we've got anything else crazy going on. No, I can't see any other early team news or anything. Or any news for anything. I mean, we know the Manchester United team's unchanged. So that's probably the last thing we're going to get here. By the way, like I said, when the deadline goes, don't leave the stream because we stay here after the deadline stream and we just chat about stuff, FPL, life, etc. It's always pretty good, so do stay. Gundo will start. He's captain. Yeah, I think Gundogan will start. The thing is with Gundogan, he's not going to start the next 3, though, I don't think. So you're going to miss one of the next 3, probably. When do you expect the first double game week? It's usually around, I think Ben Krellin said there's a blank game week in 25. So I think it'll be about sort of game week 26, 27 will be the first double game week, I think. It would be definitely after our unlimited transfers, I'm pretty sure. So nothing to worry about in the first half of the season. Bailey or Neto to start? I think I'd actually start Bailey. Why not any United players in the team? Because before last week we were absolutely terrible and our fixtures still aren't great. So I might, if Rashford looks good again, maybe Rashford comes into the team next week. But I still think I prefer the Leeds midfielders, to be honest. Yeah, you've only got 1 minute. By the time my voice comes to you, you've probably only got about 1 minute till the deadline. So do make sure that you're sorting your teams out. Get your captaincy locked in. Get your vice locked in. Get your bench order sorted. If you are playing any chips, make sure those are activated. If you've played your wild card, make sure you've actually activated your wild card. All right. No spamming, please. Yeah, thank you, Marcus. Same person spamming. You can just remove them if you want mods. There's no need to spam. I can't answer every question, unfortunately. Moreover, why no Leeds? I think there's a tricky fixture this week, and I'll target them from next week. So I'll be bringing in one of probably Harrison, Aronson, or Rodrigo next week. Maybe Sancho is good to get in the team. Maybe. I'd probably be looking at Rashford just for the price. If Anthony comes in and looks good, maybe he'll tempt me as well. But yeah, I'm not desperate to get any Manchester United players in the team. Bring in two of Harrison and Rodrigo. I think Frosty's going to be on the double up, the Leeds double up midfield. I could be tempted by it. Bailey all the way. Yep, I think Bailey all the way as well. Right, I think that's it. Deadline is gone. Locked. Locked. Well done, everyone. Another deadline done. I'm feeling quietly optimistic about my team. There are a few people who could absolutely destroy me, like Perisic is the main one, and then Leeds midfielders as well look like they could absolutely destroy my team. So if Perisic stays quiet and Leeds midfielders don't do much, I think the team will be in a very good place going forward, to be honest. Deadline is gone. And now we kick back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the stream. By the way, if you are going to leave now, if you're only interested in the deadline, please do drop a like on your way out. Make sure you subscribe. But if you want to stay, we will be staying and chilling and chatting about whatever you want to chat about. Oh. Mark my words, Leeds will hurt you this week. I appreciate that, Graham. Thank you very much. Hopefully, Pascal Gross can cover whatever the Leeds attackers do. Wait, you've got a book. What is it about? I don't know. The person that's just asked that, can you tell me if you're trolling? If not, I will talk about the book. But I don't know. I don't know if that's just a joke, because I talk about the book quite often. My wife thinks I'm a maniac for having butter and jam on my toast. What do you think? I'm very sorry, Marcus. I don't think you're a maniac. What do we think about butter and jam? My opinion is, if you're having something like Nutella, or you're having something like jam or peanut butter, like, I don't think you need butter on there as well. Like, do you need butter as well as another topping? I think jam's fine. So I would go somewhere in the middle, Marcus. Don't think you're a maniac, but I don't think butter should be there with jam. No, see, Zodiac, you're just going to... don't make me remove you as a moderator. Butter and Nutella is not okay. I went round someone's house once, and they was like, do you want Nutella on... It was on bread or on toast. And I was like, yeah, I love Nutella. And they gave it to me. And it just had this thick lump of, like, butter underneath my Nutella. Like, no, I don't want a thick load of butter underneath my Nutella. Absolutely not. So, do you know what, Marcus? I'm starting to move towards you actually being a bit of a maniac. The more I think about it. What about butter and margarine? No, that's not okay either. Should be very little butter. Okay, if you have a little bit of butter, maybe. Maybe, but just Nutella's good enough by itself, isn't it? Oh, I really want some Nutella on bread now. Could really do with that. I actually like butter and ketchup a lot. What do you mean butter and ketchup? What does that even mean? You dip toast in ketchup. There's no way you actually do that. You dip toast in ketchup. I like ketchup, but I'm not sure I would ever dip toast in ketchup. You lot are weird. You're a strange bunch. All 530 of you, you're all a strange bunch of people. Don't know why you're dipping toast in ketchup and putting butter with your jam. You're all maniacs. Ross, I took a -4. Make me feel better, please. I was gonna be mean for a joke. No, you're absolutely fine. -4 is not an issue. They get one return, you pay your -4 back. You're absolutely fine, mate. Since we're talking about weird food, my favourite pizza includes banana. I think people are just trying to upset me at this stage. Pesto on toast is nice. I tell you what, Marcus, I can respect and rate that. I can absolutely respect and rate that. Vegemite is the only spread you really need butter with. My 20-year-old has peanut butter and banana on toast. See, I don't mind that either. That sounds okay to me. Wasn't a joke about the book. Sorry if I've missed something obvious. Hello, everyone. My name is FPL Raptor, and I've written a book on FPL. No, really though. If anyone doesn't know, there is the green screen. Like, it doesn't look like that. The green screen just obviously it doesn't like the green. But yes, I have written a book on FPL and psychology. You can put links in the description. I won't go on and on about it. But if you're new to the channel and you've not yet seen, I did write a book. It is 55,000 words. It is, how many pages is it? 180, I should know this. It's 187 pages. There's plenty of info in it. So if you're interested in psychology and FPL, pick up a copy. Butter the toast while it's hot. This is another thing. You got to burn your fingers. You've got to. You don't pull the... Listen, this upsets me. You can't pull the toast out, wait for 30 seconds, go get the butter, put the butter on the toast. It's just a no. The butter's got to be on that toast immediately. Slap the butter on, let it melt. I really want toast now. Can someone bring me some toast? Preferably still warm and not with butter and jam. Just one or the other. I enjoy your content, so I might have to look at the book. Yeah, feel free to have a look at the book. I'd massively appreciate that, of course. And if anyone does buy the book, let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of it. What are your preferred transfers for Game Week 5? Are you taking a hit? I don't know at this stage. I won't be taking a hit, I don't think. It will probably involve either downgrading Cancelo or Diaz and then using the funds to then upgrade elsewhere. Would you like some tea with your toast? I would, FPL Cats. If you could make me a cup of tea as well, that would be great. Next question then. Next question. In a bacon sandwich, what sauce, if any sauce? Butter, ketchup, brown sauce? I've seen barbecue sauce. I've seen mustard. Or is it just a plain bacon sarnie? What goes in the bacon sandwich? I'm really hungry. We should stop talking about food, to be honest. You lose the crunchiness of the toast if the butter goes straight on. Debatable. If you've cooked the toast enough, then it's then it's debatable, right? I don't understand people that have like warm bread. Why on earth would you put toast in a toaster and then pull it out when it's still like bread? Like, it needs to. I think I like my toast a little bit too burnt in comparison to a normal person. Like, I like bits of like black on my toast. Like, I like it pretty burnt. But there we go. Coffee is better than tea. I do prefer coffee to tea, but with toast, I prefer tea. Red for bacon, brown for sausage. That's a good rule. Butter, barbecue sauce. Yeah, a lot of people saying barbecue. Bacon sandwich, I would probably do curry sauce. Really? Brown sauce, there is no other option. I would go for either nothing or a small amount of ketchup, but not a massive amount. Question: are YouTube content creators killing FPL as there are too many people following the same trends, templates, etc.? It's a great question. I don't think content creators are killing FPL. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this if I thought I was destroying a game. I think personally for me, I think we're changing the game, right? The game's developing now. Everyone's got access to information. Everyone has access to people like myself, Andy, Focal, Mate, all doing similar things. I don't think that means that they're killing the game, though. I think what that means personally for me is that the game's developing and changing. So you need to find new ways to try and get one up on opposition and to try and do well in the game. And I don't think it necessarily makes the game any worse, personally. But maybe I'm biased as a content creator. It definitely makes the game harder to do well, that's for sure. That is absolutely true. Ross, have you watched House of Dragon yet? I haven't, but I love Game of Thrones, so I'm going to get it done. I'm wondering if I can avoid spoilers. I'd quite like to just watch it in one go. I hate watching an episode and waiting, and then watching an episode and waiting, so... yeah. I might wait, but at the same time, I know you'll avoid... it's difficult to avoid spoilers. I think many content creators knee-jerk too much. Yeah, potentially. I think the thing is, as content creators as well, we need to not be afraid to make different decisions. As long as content creators don't always push the same narrative, then I think we're fine. And I think my team is fairly template, yes, but I think one of the things that I pride my channel on is not being completely succumbing to like groupthink and herd mentality. Like I try to make my own decisions and I try to encourage you guys to as well. So I think as long as content creators aren't always pushing the same thing, then I think we'll be fine. How does the FPL site calculate form, and do you ever pay attention to it? I'll be honest, I don't pay any attention whatsoever to the FPL site. They've got like creativity and I look at the underlying statistics myself. My order for Atomic Habits has just arrived. What do you expect in terms of fixing procrastination? I think there are better books to read for fixing procrastination, to be honest. It's more about a philosophy to life. It's not specific habits. If you want specific... let me actually get this up. I've got a couple of books I can recommend for procrastination. I put out a tweet yesterday. I'm doing far too much stretching on this stream. It means I'm tired. Oh, by the way, if you want to, I've not really been pushing this too much. I know it might seem like it because so many people have voted, which I really appreciate. I've put it out on a few platforms. If you tweet, I am voting for FPL Raptor in the FCAs for Best in Fantasy Football Creators, I'd appreciate that. Basically, the FCAs are the Football Content Awards. So every week, it's every year. It's quite a big event. Loads of different categories. But I'm going to try and get nominated. I'm not going to win it. Listen, let's talk FPL, FPL Focal, FPL Mate. Easily ahead of my channel. But I'd love to be nominated. So if you fancy tweeting this, it has to be exactly this, by the way. Then please feel free to do so. Anyway, what was I saying? This is it. I did my top 10 books. If anyone wants to, you can take a picture of the list here, because I know I get a lot of recommendations for my favorite books of all time. These are all non-fiction. I do read fiction books, but I think people are more interested in my opinion for non-fiction. So the books that I would read for procrastination, if you're interested in information on procrastination, it is Make Time is a really good one by Jake Knapp and John Saratsky, that one there. So I would definitely look at potentially that. And then the other one, just because it's a completely different approach to procrastination, is 4,000 Weeks. Because what this says is we're never going to get everything done we want, and we should focus on the things that matter because we've got a limited amount of time on this earth. So we're actually, the average person's only alive for 4,000 weeks, which doesn't sound like a lot when you think about it. So I would probably start with Make Time. But if you want a different opinion on it, almost to say, don't worry about being productive, don't worry about procrastinating, that book by Oliver Berkman's really good. So yeah, if anyone's interested in books. There's a fly flying around my face. That is not ideal. Should I go to the gym before the Spurs game? You should absolutely do so. I'm going to the gym after the Man United game. So like 1 or 2. Can you copy us the voting sentence, please? Yeah, I can. You can vote on their website as well. I'll put the website in the chat. Again, like there's no obligation. If you genuinely, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I'm not just saying this. If you genuinely think there is a better content creator, please don't vote for me because I've asked you to. I'm not asking you to vote for me because, like to fake the results. But if you think I am your favorite content creator in fantasy football, then you can vote. So this is the link to vote on their website. Right, so that's to vote on their website. And then the other thing you can do if you want to is you can vote via Twitter, and you just have to type in this sentence. Where's the chat gone? So you've got two options. You've got either the website or you can do it on Twitter, or just vote for someone else. If I were to vote who my favorite content creator is, quite it's really tough, isn't it? I would probably go for one of FPL Focal. I think Oscar's content is absolutely brilliant. Or FPL Wire or Black Box. So there you go. I wouldn't vote for myself. I haven't voted for myself, but I think there are some really good content creators out there. So don't feel free to not vote for me, but please vote for someone, because content creators put a lot of work and effort into their content. Like we put in maybe, I don't know, maybe, I think I put in about 40 or 50 hours a week for YouTube stuff. So vote for someone because it means a lot to that person, whoever you vote for. Ross, how important is statistical usage to be great in FPL? I think if you want to be consistently good, statistics are important. I think you can have a one-off season where you don't use stats and you absolutely smash it. There have been people that win FPL that don't even know what expected data is. But I think if you want to be consistently good, the best way to do that is to use underlying data and to use statistics. You're my favorite fantasy philosopher, but I'm not sure there is a prize for that. I like that. Fantasy philosopher sounds good. What about Let's Talk FPL? He's pretty cool too. Andy is fantastic. I chat to Andy quite often. Andy's a brilliant YouTuber. But I just think Oscar's content is remarkably good. I love the graphics. It's doing something slightly different as well. A lot of the content that you'll see is a similar sort of format. Oscar just took it to a new level. He just took it to a new level. 40 hours a week. So how do you also do a postgrad? I do about 20 to 30 hours a week on my PhD, 20 to 30 hours a week on my lecturing, sometimes as little as like 15, 20 hours on lecturing, and then I'll do about 40 hours a week on FPL. So yeah, it's about 80 hours a week. But the thing is with FPL, I can do that in the evenings. Like I can make a YouTube video in the evenings. So like, I'll normally do PhD work throughout the day. I lecture, and then... Sorry, my Alexa just flashed at me. I don't want to say her name because she gets a bit excited. What's the same? Yeah, I do about 80 hours a week of work. But the thing is, like I said, FPL is not work for me. I love FPL. Are you playing Fanslide this week? Yeah, we're going to do Fanslide in like 2 minutes. So I am playing Fanslide this week, yeah. So make sure you join. Link in the description. We're going to talk about that in a sec. How is it like being a citizen of the UK? What are the perks? It's a good question. I don't want to offend anyone. Like, I'm British through and through. I think there are a lot of things I don't like about the UK, but I'm also know that I'm privileged and that there are a lot of fantastic things about the UK as well. So the good things, price of living for a lot of the places is pretty decent. Free healthcare is fantastic. Just generally, it's a fairly safe place to live for most areas in comparison to obviously like some of the stuff going on in the US. There are multiple benefits, but I just feel like it's a very pessimistic country at points. It's almost the entire outlook. It's not a specific type of person. It's just generally, I think as a country, we've got a very pessimistic outlook. And if you know me as a person, I'm very positive and optimistic. And I like people that see the beauty in the world and try and stay positive and try and stay happy. And I just feel like... generally, the UK can be quite a pessimistic place. So, yeah. There we go. I listen to Black Box in bits, so I've got stuff to look forward to. Yeah, Black Box is so good. Mark, I think Black Box and the FPL Wire are definitely the two podcasts at the moment. Who Got the Assist by... with Tom and Lucy's fantastic as well, but I love the FPL Wire and Black Box. Sometimes I'll sit there. It's just nice to have... I like longer form content. Like, I think it's fantastic to get that quick. Like Oscar and Harry, they've got that really quick content where you can just sit down in 2 minutes, you find out their team. But I also like that in-depth conversation as well. When do I sleep? Yeah, my sleeping's been pretty bad recently, but I still get enough sleep. Perversely, I try not to watch too much FPL content. Well, rather than not let it make my choices, like do my own research, then partake in the communities. Raptor is great though, as he's very unbiased. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's important to make your own decisions and to not be too affected by what other people are doing. I agree, Frosty. Are you a United fan? Yes, I am a United fan. How much do you make from YouTube? Let's be honest. I'm obviously not going to go through how much money I make from YouTube. YouTubers have the ability to make a lot of money. I can tell you how YouTubers make money if that interests you. So YouTubers make money through sponsorships, and YouTubers make money through something called AdSense, which is ad revenue. So every time there's an ad in a video, a YouTuber makes a very small amount off you watching that ad. So they're the main two. So if someone is sponsored by a video, that's a bit of money, and if someone has ads in their video, that's another form of money. The more ads you put in, the more money you earn. And yeah, I'm not going to go through my finances on live on stream, as open and honest as I am. Dublin is a good country. I really liked Ireland. When I went out to Ireland, I really genuinely really enjoyed Ireland. I'm very tempted when I finish my PhD to move out to Ireland. I really, really liked it out there. And the people were just generally so lovely. So welcoming and kind, and it was a stark contrast from what I've seen. But I live in a city, right? And I think when you live in a city, people are just so quick paced and they don't have time to kick back and have that sort of calm attitude. So maybe it's to do with where I'm living in the UK as much as anything. FPL Cat says, I voted for you, love your content, you make it really personable and fun. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for saying that. Better living in Norway, mate. I've been to Norway and Finland, 2 countries, which, again, the people were fantastic. Beautiful places. I'd love to go back. When do you find time for a wife? At the moment, I don't, to be honest. I'm pretty happy being single, to be honest. I can't imagine doing 90 hours a week and having someone else to pay attention to. Also, I'm not sure how cool it is being a fantasy football YouTuber. So trying to explain that to someone that I've just met. What do you do? Well, I do a PhD. That's pretty cool, right? Do a PhD in virtual reality. I work with Premier League clubs and deliver virtual reality training. That's cool. Is it cool to say that you do fantasy football YouTube? Maybe not. What is your education? My education, I've got a bachelor's degree in psychology. I've got a master's degree in sport and exercise psychology. And I'm currently doing a PhD in sports psychology. I also have 4 A-levels and 13 GCSEs, all of which were an A-star level. So there you go. Ross is a bit of a nerd, essentially. Never ask someone how much they earn. To be honest, in real life, if I'm with friends, I'm very open about money. I'm not particularly sort of closed off about that. I'll happily have a chat. But again, that's not a good thing to discuss live on a stream. Thanks for all of your videos, Ross. My work as a mini league, I want to win with a nice cash prize. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, mate. Keep following the content and I will do my best every single week to give you the best information I possibly can. I'm married to YouTube. Yeah, I'm pretty much married to YouTube at this stage, aren't I? I'm married to the FPL Raptor brand. What other sports do you watch? Unfortunately, not a massive amount, to be honest. I watch, when I can. I haven't watched barely any over like the last 18 months, but when I can, I usually love watching the NBA. It's probably my favorite sport, but the times are always really dodgy, and it's quite expensive to get an NBA League Pass, and I just don't watch that many games. So outside of that, I like golf is probably my 3rd sport, but I usually watch golf on YouTube. So if you don't watch golf on YouTube, there's Good Golf and Rick Shields are the 2 channels that I watch. So I like watching golf content on YouTube. Outside of that, I don't really watch any other sports. I'm a bit of a YouTube sort of baby. Like, I love YouTube. Like, ever since I was about 10, I would always sit down and prefer to watch YouTube than I would watch, like, TV. So every evening, I watch YouTube videos about all sorts of stuff. Other YouTubers that I like. Let's see if anyone watches it. Graham Stephan is one of my favorite YouTubers. Andre Schick, Ali Abdul. So I like those sort of entrepreneur-style videos. Who else do I watch? Yeah, that's probably my top 3, along with the golf ones that I watch, probably. What do you think was better, Norway or Finland? They were different trips, to be honest. Finland was more like Lapland, so it was obviously beautiful, and it was at Christmas time, so I've got good memories from that, but I liked both Norway and Finland. I think it depends where you go, again, in both countries. Don't you have a crush on anyone? I think everyone always has crushes on someone, don't they? But I'm not going to reveal live on stream who I have a crush on. You should show that video about FPL dates. Yeah, potentially. That was funny. Will messaged me before he uploaded that video and asked. So just get a potential partner to watch this stream. They'll be queuing up. Maybe. Maybe they will. It'd be quite cool to have someone that like plays FPL that you're a partner with, I guess. Do anyone watching this, boys, girls, whoever you are, do your partners play FPL? Does any of your family members play FPL? Literally, the only family I've got, my sister plays FPL. My dad sort of casually plays FPL, and my nan loves FPL. But by the way, people keep thinking I'm making up my nan playing FPL. What a weird thing to make up. It's not like I desperately need the attention on Twitter and I'm like making things up to try and get me more attention. Like, my nan does play FPL. My nan has played FPL for the last 4 seasons. But anyway, so I don't actually have a partner that plays FPL. As my previous partner didn't play FPL. So it would be pretty cool to have someone that plays FPL, I guess. Just subscribed because you are very, very, very smart. 3 verys. That's pretty cool. Thank you. I try my best to be as smart as possible. Yash says, what does it take to write a book? Oh, a lot of hard work and dedication. So it took me 14 months from start to finish. Because I was quite busy during the days, I had to start writing at like 2 a.m. most evenings. So I was doing my writing when I should have been sleeping. You obviously have to have a first draft. You have to try and convince publishers. If you don't want to self-publish, you have to convince publishers to publish your book. You have to go through like several editing rounds. You have to think about pictures. You have to think about a front cover. The front cover, again, goes through like 5 or 6 different iterations. You then have to get people to proofread it. You have to get references. I mean, it's a bulky, long process to write a book if you want to do it well. But I genuinely think when I look at this book, I think everything about it I'm so happy with. The cover design, the length, like we use really expensive paper, by the way. We get less of a profit, but the paper is like really good quality. The font's good. So if you want to do it well, I'd say it takes a year of your time and it takes quite a lot of persistence and dedication. If you want to do it pretty easily, you could probably get one done in 4, 5, 6 months. What did you do with your time before you spent 40 hours a week making content? I was engaged previously before I started YouTube. By the way, the engagement didn't break off because of YouTube. I don't think so anyway. So that took up a lot of my time. And also, I just relaxed more, to be honest. I relaxed more. So it was more kind of spread out the way I would do my PhD work, relax more during the day. Now, my days are scheduled out from sort of 7 till I go to bed. So I don't have an issue with that because, like I said, I don't see FPL as a job necessarily. Just because I earn a bit of money from YouTube doesn't mean it's a job for me. It's a hobby. So yeah, I had a lot more spare time. Let's just say that when I didn't do YouTube. You are a YouTube content creator who shares knowledge about a game that is played by around 10 million people. Who does not follow this is probably not worth your time. That's fair enough. Yeah, I like the explanation there. Maybe that's the way I'll explain it to people in the future. Look at this. I start talking about some of my achievements, and all of a sudden, we've got Tinder girls wanting to write first in the chat. Is that a coincidence that all of a sudden I'm talking about all of this stuff and we've got a bot in the chat? Maybe not. Final year politics and economics student at the University of Essex, would you recommend a PhD? I would only recommend a PhD if you're genuinely passionate about the topic and it benefits your future career. I wouldn't recommend doing a PhD for the sake of it. If having a PhD will benefit you or you're passionate about the topic area, then I would do it. The league code is not working with me. Can someone pronounce it? It's SV1QTQ. It should work. Have you ever been in Denmark? I've not been to Denmark yet, no. He has a crush on me, by the way. I definitely do, Marcus. You're the love of my life. My fiance doesn't play FPL, but she games with me. I like that. That's pretty cool, Alan. I'd love a partner that games. That's pretty cool as well. My girlfriend now plays it, and we have a head-to-head league. Tension sometimes. That's super cool. I have a league with my brother. My wife actively plays FPL. My 3 kids each have teams too. That's so cool. No, my partner doesn't play, but she loves football and have played all the under-21s, under-18s national team. Love that. It's just cool to have someone that's interested in like sport and football, I guess. My missus thinks I'm a loser for playing FPL. No chance she's going to play. Yeah, you're not alone. I know a lot of people say that. Yeah, I remember you saying, Frosty, that you got your missus to play this year. You met her in a sports bar, and we used to follow football a lot together. But in the football kind of died off when we moved to the countryside. Back on it now. Very nice. Very nice. When are you streaming until? Probably just before 12. We're going to play Fan Slide in a second. Not for too long. And then we're going to jump back to some questions. So yeah, about 20 minutes, half hour. Oh my goodness, this fly is flying around my face. Oh yeah, bring your Nan live on stream. Yeah, the thing is, so Nana Raptor lives in Essex, right, which is where I'm from originally. I live in Nottingham, so the only time that I ever go to Essex, I don't bring all my equipment. My green screen's like 30 kilos, it's huge. I've got a camera, studio lighting, and I can't bring all that back with me, so it's difficult to get Nana Raptor on a live stream. But I'll try and get a video with her. When I'm back over Christmas time, I'll try and get a video of some kind with Nana Raptor. Even if it's not like a YouTuber, even if it's something I just put on Twitter. Does the winner of your mini league get a signed copy of your book? That's a good idea. The winner of each month gets a copy with a cup or a mug. And then at the end of the year, there's loads of prizes for the winner. But yeah, maybe a signed copy would be good for the winner of the entire thing, if they were interested. Some people might not care. Me and my other half and daughter, age 12, all play. It's competitive in our house. I beat him last year, though. That felt good. I loved that. Yeah, hopefully you beat him again this year. Very, very nice. Is there a digital copy of your book? Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. The link's in the description. You can get it on Kindle. United watch along. My issue is I watch everything on Sky Go, and as a result, I can't do a watch along because I'm like 2 minutes behind. So if I were to do a watch along, it would just be everyone in the chat ruining it for me. So I'd have to do a watch along without looking at the chat, and that just feels like not much for watch along. So maybe if at some point I can do one where people promise not to ruin it, but I think people just be in the chat talking about it. So yeah, maybe one day, but not for now. Honestly, the book is excellent. I bought it before I went on holiday in June. It's an easy, interesting read with some activities in it too. Generally worth getting a hold of. Thank you. Yeah, there's like an FPL bingo I've got in there and like FPL questionnaires and stuff. The bots heard about a lack of partner and pounced. They really did, didn't they? Yash says, no, I meant to ask, what kind of knowledge did writing this book require and how did you go about collecting and organising all your thoughts to pen it? Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I've got a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in sports psychology. So most of the knowledge I already had. But because I've got 2 degrees, I know how to research. So I just used all of the academic journals that I know about and I read around the topics. So it probably took me 2 months of extra research. Oh, whistled. I got 2 months of extra research to get all of that together. But generally, I had a lot of the knowledge already. So I'm very lucky that I obviously did this stuff at university. You think St Andrews Uni is worth going to? Yeah, it's a great university. And you're also close to the old course as well. If you play golf, you're in a good position there. So what do you do now? I'm currently doing a PhD in psychology and I'm lecturing in psychology. And I'm a YouTuber. You don't sound like you're from Essex. I have to hide the Essex accent. Yeah, I have to hide the Essex accent. There's nothing wrong with the Essex accent, but it can be a little bit over the top at points, can't it? I met my wife watching Huddersfield Town, literally in the ground. That was 15 years ago, still together with the 2 kids. Life is much better when you share a passion. That's really cool, Matt. Very cool. Which football club is closest to you in Essex? It's probably Leyton Orient or Southend, but the actual stadium, I'm actually in like very close to Stratford. So it's probably like West Ham might be the closest now from where my family live. But when I was growing up, it would probably been like Leyton Orient or Southend. Hi Raptor, fun seeing you live. Thank you for being here live. I appreciate you. United are unchanged. Yeah, we knew United would be unchanged. We got the we got the news before. Let the accent out. Let the accent out. Maybe soon. It's not. I'm not necessarily thinking about it constantly. What I mean is, over the last 10 years, I've made a conscious effort to not slip into the habits of, like saying like water. Like water's a very Essexy thing. It will come out every now and again. You'll get little slips, but I try and pronounce my T's like I'd say water. It's just little things. It's not. Again, there's nothing wrong with the Essex accent. 5+ year relationship suddenly ended with the woman I thought I'd marry. Best advice for heartbreak and getting over an ex. Do you know what? Let me share with you guys then. So I was in, I think I've shared this like briefly, but I was in a 6-year relationship. So I met the love of my life when I was 18. I proposed to her when I was 21. So basically we met at our university. I proposed at graduation. All very romantic. And we were together for 6 years. She split up with me when I was 24. So last year. So I was with someone for 6 years. I also thought she was the woman I was going to marry. Basically, it absolutely sucks. Like it was the worst time of my life, by far and away the worst time of my life. You can probably tell, like if you go back to my YouTube videos over November, I was an absolute mess. Like you can tell in my face, like I just wasn't happy. Honestly, everyone's advice at the time was that it will get better with time. And it genuinely made me want to punch people in the face. When people were like, don't worry, it will get better with time. I was like, but you don't understand. Like what we had was different. Like it was the most perfect relationship, all of this sort of stuff. But it does get better over time. That is the best advice that you can give, is that it won't last forever. And you've just got to sort of plod along. Make sure you grieve. Don't like try and distract yourself too much. Because I know a lot of people would say like, just take your mind off of it. But you need to process it. Because if you just distract yourself, 6 months in the future, whenever, you're going to keep on thinking about that thing. So yes, distract yourself a little bit, but make sure you take time to process it, and just it'll get better and you'll find someone else. And if this person broke it up with you, then they're not the one for you. And you'll find someone that is. So apologies for that really random, what am I looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for. It starts with a D. Not divergence. I don't know. I'm chatting nonsense here. Throw some annoying Essex accent. I'm not going to throw. I don't want the stream to die down. It is the worst to hear, but it actually gets better with time. Tangent, thank you, Frosty. What would I do without you? Yep, tangent, that was the word I was looking for. I was going like, yeah, tangent. Divulgence, I like that. Divergent, oh, Divergent's a great film. It's been 1.5 months for me now, but sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's not great, and it's not just going to go over like that. It doesn't just end in a second, so there we go. Hopefully it gets better for you soon. If anyone's had any heartbreak, then yeah. Anyway, right. So, going to carry on answering questions, but it is that time of the video where we make our fan slide team. If I've ever provided value to you and you like playing in-play fantasy football, or you just want to support me, to be honest, any of the above, just stick around and listen to me whilst I talk about this. So, like I said, Fanslide is completely free to play in-play fantasy football. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, this is a very fun game to play, and I genuinely believe you would enjoy playing it. So there is a link in the description. I think it's pretty much only the UK, but there are a couple of other countries, I believe. But it's due to the fact that because it's now you can enter paid for, there's certain countries don't allow it with their regulation. So for the time being, it's majoritarily UK, but still listen ahead anyway. And you basically slide players in and out to get different points. So if I do this, I'm hoping now. Yeah, right. So you can see my phone live now. So this is me on my phone. So basically, at the start of the game, what am I doing? I think you have to there, play the game, enter one table, free entry, enter now. Boom. Right, I'm in. Right, 'cause it's completely free, this one. So what you get So if you click on the Manchester United Southampton game once you've downloaded, then you've got single, double, and triple points, right? Nice and easy. You basically can only own certain players for 20 minutes at a time. So you can see all of these players here, you can only own them for 20 minutes. So you need to think, if you expect Varane to score a goal in the first 20, you pick him. If you expect Sancho to be better in the second half, wait until the second half to own him. So if I just go to the academy section on the how to play, you basically slide the players in and out. So there is an academy section if you want information on that. But you can also see the point scoring system. And the best thing about this is you get points for absolutely everything. So you get points for interceptions, switch in play, all of this fun stuff, clean sheets, last player tackle. Look at all the stuff that you get points for. So it might actually be worth selecting midfielders, for example, rather than just attackers. So my number one tip to you, if you're still watching this, you get a number one tip, and it is really useful, is when you're playing the game, start with defenders that you think will keep clean sheets for the first 20 minutes. So if you think Man United won't concede for the first 20 minutes, pick Manchester United defenders, because you can get all of those clean sheet points. If a defender keeps a clean sheet for 20 minutes, you get to keep them. So I'm going to start with Malacia in the triple points, double. I'm going to start with Licha. He's been so good. Martinez in the triple points. And then I might actually go for like a Christian. I might go for Malacia in the single, you know. And I might go for Christian. Christian Eriksen tends to dictate play quite early on, so we might get a lot of pass points and stuff like that. So I think that will be roughly the team that I start with. But if you fancy Southampton players to do well, maybe do that. I'm just catching up with the chat, by the way. What jobs have you had outside academia? I have. I've worked at Homebase, I've worked at Matalan, and I've worked at Under Armour, all retail, whilst I've been doing my academia. I was actually assistant manager at Under Armour, was probably my best job that I had, which is pretty cool. Thanks for all the support in the chat, by the way, guys. I appreciate that. I'm feeling much, much better now, like much, much better. But yeah, it was a tough time in my life. Wowza. YouTube saved me, honestly. I was so depressed, but YouTube, I had to turn up. I had to turn up 2 or 3 videos a week and still record the videos. So yeah, you guys helped me more than you know. Anyone that watches the videos and commented on the different things, you guys helped me more than you will know. Good morning, Ross. Good morning, Mr. Focal. You've joined in the middle of a chat about Fanslide, but good to see you, my man. Thank you for being here. I was literally just saying, Mr. Focal, that I've voted for you on the Football Content Awards. So you've got my vote as the best in fantasy football content creator. So there we go. Keep up the good work. By the way, Mr. Focal has just hit 100,000 subscribers, which is mental. So very soon, when Focal's in the chat, you're going to see a little tick next to Focal's name, and it's going to mean he's verified, which is pretty cool. I hope you've ordered your plaque, by the way. You get your 100,000 subscribers plaque. So Focal's just said he's gone triple. Yeah, I know Oscar's been playing Fanslide as well. Focal's gone triple Southampton. So like, if you want to mix it up slightly, go triple Southampton. You could buy, like, maybe that's the way forward, but I've got to back my boys. I think I've got to back my boys. But anyway, like up until the deadline, you can have a little change around with this. Maybe you want to go for like De Gea instead or something like that. Like, you can change around. In the game, you get 3 free slides per half. So during the game, if you see that Manchester United look terrible, you can just swipe in some Southampton players. That's no issue at all. So anyway, if you want to support the channel in some way, I would really appreciate it. Link in the description to download Fanslide. Make sure you enter my league and make sure you play the Southampton game that starts in 48 minutes and see if you can beat me. So at the moment, we've not got that many people in the group, to be honest, at the moment. But if you go onto groups at the bottom, you can see this is my group here, and these are the members, right? So we've got some members in here. You can invite friends to join the group if you want to as well. So if you want people to join the group, let them know. And yeah, we've got quite a few people in the chat, and there'll be a little league that will pop up, and you can try your best to beat me, basically. Swipe in as a player in barreling on towards the goal. You can do, but you've got to be very quick with it, and it takes maybe like 3 or 4 seconds. So if you can see a counter-attack happening, you might be able to switch in time, yeah. But it would be very, very tough, to be fair. Meeting my wife made life amazing. Meeting my wife made life amazing. I think that meeting the love of your life can be the most sort of perfect thing that can happen. And this is the thing, like, people, just because you met someone early on in your life that was perfect for you and was amazing doesn't mean you won't meet someone else. So yeah, you've given me hope, Marcus. I'm going to meet my very own Mrs. Marcus. Hopefully Ross doesn't mind me sharing mine. Yeah, it's absolutely fine, Mr. Oscar, Mr. Focal. It was a good time watching your stream. Have a lovely day and I hope your FPL team week goes amazing, but not better than mine. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate that very much. Does anyone have any final questions? Feel free to ask me whatever you want. This is the time. If anyone has any final questions. Oh, the camera's gone. Do you know what? That's probably a sign. That's probably a sign that we're done, because I think the camera's actually died there rather than overheating. So I'm gonna call it there. Ross, how do we join your group? If you just use the link in the description, it will automatically put you into my group. So just automatically, if you use the link in the description to download, it will enter you into my group. Okay, so I'm going to call it there then. Best of luck for game week 4 and beyond. Make sure to tune into the deadline stream on Tuesday. Remember, Tuesday deadline for game week 5. So there'll be a video on Monday and there'll be a Tuesday deadline stream. Thank you very, very much for being here. I appreciate it all very much. Make sure to drop a like on the way out. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.